It's game time, New Jersey. The playbook for this season's action is on DraftKings Casino. Play thousands of popular slots for a shot at jackpots. Over $400 million has already been awarded. New players get 500 spins on Huff and More Puff over 10 days. Download the app, use code DK973, and claim your spins after your first $5 wager. Get in the game with DraftKings Casino, home of the largest jackpot win in online casino history. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, physically present in New Jersey. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for featured game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms and conditions at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends October 5th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
It's the most wonderful time of the year at Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Phillies, Eagles, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football, college football, and the NFL ticket. Watch the games at Yuri's and enjoy 50-cent wings, half-price pizzas, dollar dogs, and $5 draft and can specials, plus other happy hour specials. If you love seafood, Yuri's has it, including all-you-can-eat crab. And of course, the beautiful sunsets are still free. Watch the game at Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant, next to the boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even bad hair day?
Yep.
And tree branch fell on my car day?
Especially that day. Progressive has you covered 24/7 for your home and auto.
How about thought it was chicken, but it was tuna day? Or overnight construction outside my bedroom day?
Those days too.
Great, because that was each day this week.
Been there. Well, at least your home and auto are covered every day with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit CalviElectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City.
Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
Yeah! 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
Now, live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Welcome aboard a Tuesday edition of the Sports Bash, live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video streaming on the X platform, YouTube, at Mike Gill Show. We are back. Hopefully you had a great Labor Day, enjoyed the Monday, Phil's yesterday. Maybe, was that the best win of the year? Was that the most entertaining game of the season, Phillies fans? Lot to break down in that game. It was ugly early, and then it picked up to possibly the most entertaining game of the season and maybe the most important win of the season. We'll get into that today on the Sports Bash. It's Eagles-Cowboys week. We are underway. Eagles-Cowboys all this week right here on 97.3 ESPN as the Eagles take on the Cowboys right here on 97.3 ESPN on Thursday night. Thursday, we will be live at Chickies and Pete's in Atlantic City. So come on out and watch the Phillies, 4 o'clock against the Brewers, and, of course, the Eagles in the Thursday night football game. You can listen to it right here on 97.3 ESPN. We got so much to dive into today. The game last night or yesterday afternoon, which went into the evening, that was an over 3-hour baseball game last night. Rob Thompson, how did you feel after the game?
I'm going to bed.
Rob Zombie, as some people like to talk about, I'm going to bed. Some people think that he's usually sleeping in the dugout, but funny stuff from Thompson right there is the Phillies win. There was so much in this game. What stands out? What do you remember about the game yesterday that you really kind of want to zone in on? I got a couple things that really stand out to me. One, they get down in the game. Taijuan Walker, not up for the challenge. And at that point, you're thinking day game, after night game, Sunday night baseball. Then you had to travel from Sunday night baseball to Milwaukee to play the best team in baseball by record. And you're facing Jacob Mizorowski, who made the All-Star game, had all this hype around him. And you're thinking, here's another young pitcher that's basically going to shut me down. And especially when they got up early, 3 runs in the first inning, another run in the second, you're thinking, there's no way they're coming back and winning this game, right? Where's the urgency? Where's the fight? Where's all this stuff that everybody complains about? That, by the way, we failed to mention that they also took 3 out of 4 against the Braves and probably should have swept them with that Sunday night baseball loss. So after the loss on Sunday night, when you're up 1-0 in the 8th, now you're down 4-0 heading into the 4th inning. They finally get on the board. Then they get 2 in the 5th. And the next thing you know, they get 3 in the 6th, and this team has a lead all of a sudden. You got a 6-4 lead, and that's when social media went crazy. What are they doing bringing Daniel Robert into the game? I got to be honest, I think Daniel Robert deserves a lot of credit. Because if Daniel Robert was on the mound and got a chance to look at his mentions, he probably wouldn't have wanted to throw a pitch. But I thought Robert, getting those 2 outs were pretty damn big. Robert comes in, gets 2 outs in the 6th inning after the team takes the lead. Look, you could have easily gone to a guy like Daniel Robert, a very low-leverage guy, and put him in a high-leverage situation, and he could have gave the lead right back. Really, they should have got out of that inning without giving up a run. That error by Bryson Stott is unacceptably bad. Now, I'm not going to get on him too much because he's generally a really good defensive second baseman, so I'm not going to harp on the fact, but that's a play that Little League second baseman better make to get out of that inning. And then Daniel Robert does his job. Yes, he walked a guy that ended up coming around to score, and that's not to be condoned. You can't walk guys. But that's a guy that you bring in to a situation after your team takes the lead who has not been asked to pitch in a very big situation. I think it's the biggest situation that kid's ever pitched in. And he got his 2 outs and handed the ball over. He's like, I got my 2 outs. I'm getting out of this thing. And then Alvarado gets the ground ball, and they got to get that play made. So that's a big play in the game. I thought Meza, obviously, we got to give our flowers to him. There were some signings on Sunday that, really didn't get publicized a lot because of the holiday, but Tim Meza is a left-handed kind of specialist guy that I think is actually going to pitch on the playoff roster. I would imagine he makes the roster. These weren't just under-the-radar guys that are going to help you get. I think Meza and Walker Buehler, I think, are both going to be on the playoff roster here. More on that coming up. But then Robert comes in the 6th. That's a huge couple outs that he gets. Alvarado, he also walks a guy, then the error, and, of course, they end up tying the game up. Strom comes in, 2 strikeouts. Robertson, shaky inning, a couple of walks. I got to be honest, though. That Trey Turner ball to shortstop, he's got to keep that ball in the infield. I'm not asking him to make the play and get the out, but you got to keep the ball in the infield. And then that game is a one-run game. Instead, that ball gets through. They get 2 runs there. And, next thing you know, now it's an 8-8 game. But something that we haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of is in the 8th, Brandon Marsh had. How about the game Harrison Bader and the heater that he's on? Bryson Stott double in that 8th inning. It was an absolute huge bottom-of-the-lineup game with Bader and Stott and Marsh and Bader again in the 9th inning. Bader has been on a heater right now. By the way, Max Kepler, sac fly in the 6th. Starting to have a conversation here on what do you do with Nick Castellanos. More on that coming up in just a minute. But what do you start to do with Nick Castellanos? Castellanos is now obviously becoming the odd man out here. It's becoming pretty clear that Nick Castellanos is kind of becoming the odd man out here. What do you do? I think the Phillies have handled this pretty well. They are stepping up him, and it's exactly what you need to do. Nick Castellanos should not be playing, and the Phillies prospered from it this weekend. You absolutely have to start making the tough decisions now. And listen, as I say all the time, you don't manage a game in May, June, July, August the way you do in October. And you're starting to see the beginning of the change in the month of September, which is generally how it has to happen. You have to start now saying, we have to prepare for what our team will look like in the playoffs. That game yesterday, if you could make a strong argument that Harrison Bader has been the best player on the team, along with Brandon Marsh in the last 2 weeks. The home run game from Schwarber obviously kicked this whole thing off, but it's been Harrison Bader, guys like Marsh, Bader, that have been huge. Now, the problem with Marsh is he really struggles against left-handed pitching. Do the Phillies just say, you know what? This guy's been such a spark plug for us. We're going to let him try to see in the last month of the season if he can play against left-handed pitching. Do you afford him that opportunity? Because I think Bader, at this point, you have to keep him in center field. He's the best defensive option out there by far and away, and he's now becoming a key offensive player for your team, as is Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh's batting average is up to 275. And in a world where 300 is the best hitter in the National League right now, who happens to be Trey Turner, that's pretty unbelievable that he's at 275. Now, Bader, if you take a look at what he's done for this team over the last, couple weeks here, you look at the last 2 weeks of the season, last 15 days for Harrison Bader, he's hitting .419 with a .468 on-base percentage, a .651 slug, and a 1.119 OPS. I mean, anything over 1,000 is just bonkers. So Bader is showing, I think Rob Thompson said this, hey, we want to have to make tough decisions here. Well, Bader's making the decision pretty easy. He's hitting lefties, he's hitting righties, he's doing a good job. You got to keep him in the lineup. Against lefties, his numbers are not great, 234 with a 312 on base. His numbers against right-handers are actually way better. He's hitting 288 with a 366 on base and 837 OPS. So Bader's numbers against righties are actually better, which would say you just keep him in the lineup all the time. So I think the Phillies are going to have a very interesting conversation with themselves and what to do with Nick Castellanos. Shaner and EHT, you can open up the text board as well, 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. And we bring this up because Castellanos had a very interesting exchange with the media the other night. he was asked, like, is it hard when you don't know if you're in the lineup? And his answer is very terse, very short, quick, yes. Is Castellanos accepting of this role? Because last night, his body language on the field when the game ended did not seem that he was as excited as everybody else was that they came from behind and won that game. 609-403-0973. Shaner in EHC says, it's not tough, it's easy. Casty is an overpaid pretty boy who won't adjust as he ages and doesn't care as long as his pocket can hang out and his shirt unbuttoned and untucked and make a pile of cash for being a bum. Down with Casty for good, says Shaner. That's pretty harsh there, Shaner. But, look, I think there's a happy medium here, and you got to meet it. The happy medium is this. Max Kepler is your right fielder, and Nick Castellanos plays against left-handed pitching, which gets him in the lineup about 2 times a week, and you hope that against those lefties that he can provide some offense for you. But right now, right field, it's more important that you have a better defensive player out there because neither guy provides much offensively, but sadly, Max Kepler has been the better option in right field, and I'll prove those numbers in about 15 minutes from now. So this was an unbelievable, it's the kind of weekend you wonder, did it win anybody back over? You got swept by the Mets, to which I said to people, get back to me in 2 weeks. Well, it didn't even take 2 weeks, and the Phillies are already back up 6 games in the East. You know, people were angry after that Mets series. No passion, no sense of urgency. And yet, I said, get back to me in 2 weeks. Here we are, less than 2 weeks later, and the lead is already back up to 6 games. It didn't even take them the whole week, really, the whole 2 weeks, I should say, to repad that lead back up to where it was. But what they also did in less than 2 weeks, when I said get back to me in 2 weeks, was they've closed the gap on the Brewers. They're only 4.5 behind the Brewers now. They play them, obviously, tomorrow and on Thursday. And they've moved themselves up a game and a half over the Dodgers. When we left here on Friday, the Dodgers were in second place in the National League. You were like 6 back of the Brewers. And, of course, you and the Mets had your little thing going. 609-403-0973. So that's where we kind of start. It was a crazy weekend. Phillies take 3 out of 4 against the Braves. They should have won the game. Now, listen, there's a couple things in the game on Sunday night where Duran's not available, Strom's not available. Kerkering, we can have a conversation there with Kerkering. He has certainly been disappointing in some big spots there, including on Sunday Night Baseball. They should have got the sweep there, but they got 3 out of 4. You can't really complain with taking 3 out of 4 in that series, even though you wanted that game badly. I know everybody wants to win that game, but to take 3 out of 4, you feel pretty good.
A couple of follow-up questions for you, Mike.
Fire away, Josh. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
You got a nice holiday weekend?
You know, I try to maximize my time away from this place as much as humanly possible.
Good. I know you had a lot more fun than I did. You were at the beach the other day. I didn't get there.
No, I got to the beach twice over the holiday weekend. So I squeezed it in before it's back to the grind of the cave, the hole in the wall with no windows we have here. But but first thing about the Castellanos thing, because we were having this conversation over the weekend, Mike, and that is, at what point is Castellanos' attitude going to be addressed? Because, back in the day, and this is where I feel like the old man get off my lawn, but, back in my day, there used to be a guy who would grab a guy like Castellanos in the locker room and be like, yo, man, whatever your feelings are, let's keep it in here. Let's have a unified front publicly.
Well, Tim is watching on social media, and he says Nick Castellanos' attitude and body language have gone downhill the last 2 weeks. So, and Nuggets brought this up. We were doing On the Porch yesterday, and he mentioned it. And I said, I don't know that I've really noticed it. I guess I'm not just paying attention to him. But it seems that people are starting to notice that Castellanos is having some bad body language and bristling a little bit. Now, I did see the exchange he had with the reporters
Friday night.
But that's usually Nick. That's the problem. You can't put a lot of stock into Castellanos, what he says sometimes, or even the way that he looks, the way he says things, because he's just so aloof.
But at the same time, I just think that it would be helpful if somebody went to him and And I don't think there is this guy in this locker room.
Well, Thompson did address it the other night, and he said, look, I would be disappointed if he's not upset. Like, I hope that he's upset. I would want him to play.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being like, hey, man, I really want to be on the field, but also being like, hey, man, what is best for winning is important to me, too. Like, the messaging could be, like, for example, the Eagles this week, and we're going to have the Nick Sirianni press conference later this afternoon. Vic Fangio yesterday sitting there saying, I'm not going to tell you who's starting, ask Nick. Well, Nick Sirianni, we know Nick Sirianni ain't going to tell you either. There's the united front with the Eagles. There is everyone's on the same page. Everyone's spouting out the same stuff, from the quarterback to the head coach to the coaches to the number 6 wide receiver, right? For the Phillies, though, it feels like there's a little bit too much, this guy's saying this guy's saying that.
Well, it is a interesting tightrope that they're walking right now between what to do with Castellanos and his, he obviously wants to play, and he's not happy about it. I will say this. In the Rob Thompson era, if there's one thing that I will give managers credit for, I think their number one role is managing the personalities, keeping the clubhouse happy, all of that jazz. We do not often, if ever, hear about problems in the Phillies locker room.
True.
I would have to think that this would be on the same plane as that.
Okay.
While Castellanos is clearly not happy, I don't think he will become an issue. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I hope you're right, because
So you're saying you disagree. You think he is going to become a problem. Is that what you're saying?
I feel like if this continues, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Let me see what they got coming up here. Tomorrow they play Quintana's pitching tomorrow, so I imagine he's in the lineup.
Right, and after it's Peralta. So I'm assuming Castellanos plays Wednesday, and then it's a coin flip if he plays Thursday. Man, I look at what Peralta's numbers are against guys.
Well, after that, literally, this is the way they should handle this. Quintana's pitching tomorrow, so probably Castellanos plays. Now, if I'm Aaron Nola, though, I don't want him playing right field.
I don't think any pitcher in the right mind wants him playing in the outfield.
That's true. Peralta pitches on Thursday. He's a righty. He should not be in the lineup. The Marlins have no starters.
I will say Castellanos has good numbers against Peralta. So
okay, well, maybe that factors in. Then he plays right field. And see, those are the games where he has good numbers against somebody, he probably plays. And when there's a left-hander, he probably plays. Because Kepler has really not done enough to say, well, I deserve to play against every right-handed pitcher.
Correct.
So if there's a right-handed pitcher where Castellanos, the thing is, you then have to then get him out of the game late in the game, like they did the other night. They took him out of the game the other night.
And that's where the conversation started on Friday night with him being so
This
terse.
all started from Friday night because he got pulled from the game defensively, which we've said all along. I think the Phillies ultimately will
keep doing that.
Will evolve into doing the right thing. There's no need to do the right thing in June and July and in all. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it and tick the guy off in May. You let him play, and then you I think they're doing this the right way. Do you agree or disagree?
I think the Phillies are doing it the right way. I don't think he is handling it the best he should.
Probably not. He's probably not handling it the right way.
And I think that's where, like, for example, I mentioned Peralta on Thursday. So Castellanos, in 19 at-bats, has 4 doubles, a homer, and 5 RBI against Peralta. Him and Kepler both actually have good numbers against Peralta. The guy with bad numbers is Brandon Marsh, actually, with 2 strikeouts and 4 at-bats.
And 4 at-bats is just too small of a sample size. But, the Phillies like to use their analytics, and they might say, hey, look, that's a reason for us to say you're not going to play in this particular game. 609-403-0973. I do want to show you the exchange quickly between Castellanos and the media. This is from Friday night after the game, okay? Castellanos and the media Friday night after the game. This is from On Pattison. The video is courtesy of On Pattison. So this is the exchange between the media and Castellanos.
It's the easiest way to get through the challenges to sit there and say, hey, this is a team thing. We're all in trying to get to the same goal at the end. Yes.
Given those improvements and the game you had defensively from you, a few good plays, is it frustrating when you're not out there?
Yes.
So there you go. Is the best way to do this is say it's the best thing for the team? He said yes. We have to take his word for it, right?
We have to take his word for it because...
And then they asked him, is it frustrating?
And he says yes. So
he was also, just real quick, to add to this, he apparently was told that he was coming out of the game from Paco Figueroa.
Right.
So he said, how was the conversation? He said there was no conversation. Paco was the one that told me.
Right, and then Rob Thompson was asked about that on Friday night as well. And Rob, they asked him, hey, should you change who's delivering that message? And Rob Thompson basically just played it off like he's like, it is like Rob made it sound like it wasn't that big a deal.
I would tend to agree with Rob Thompson on this particular one. I mean, listen, some of the position coaches, they're the ones that say, hey, listen, you're coming out of the game. I mean, usually you got so many different other things going on. But that being said, I mean, Nick and Rob's relationship, don't know. But here is how Rob answered the question on Friday night when he was asked about this whole situation.
Nick said he was frustrated to come out last night, and then Paco told him, what went into that, I guess.
What went into what?
Why was Paco the one to tell him? Is that no?
Because he was on base.
Okay.
Because I couldn't tell him before he went to the plate.
Yeah.
If he hits a home run, I probably don't take him out again.
Right. But given that he's kind of been frustrated about it, do you maybe make more of an effort for it to come from you moving forward?
Well, yeah, but if he's on base, I can't. I'm not going to run out there and tell me, hey, Nick, you're up. But Nick just wants to play, and that's it. I think most guys get frustrated when they come out of the game or don't play because they want to play, and that's normal.
So his point is Nick was on base. So Paco was the one that was the closest to him, so he's the one that told him, hey, Nick, by the way, when you go into the dugout, you don't need to come back out.
Well, also, I like how he said, I can't run out onto the base paths and tell him to run back to the dugout. He's like, he's trying to explain, like, look, guys, the circumstances did not necessitate me having a conversation about Castellanos when he's on base while we're subbing him out. Like, and this is where I think Rob is in the right, because Rob is saying, look, I'm managing the team. My job is to manage Nick Castellanos 24/7.
I would agree, especially the fact that he was on the base. Like he said, now, could I have told him when he was on the on-deck circle? I don't think that's when he wants to be told, hey, by the way, you're hitting, but then you're coming out of the game. No, He doesn't want to tell him in that spot. So I think Castellanos has to basically man up in this situation and understand what's going on here. Harrison Bader is giving this team a lift. If you're Nick Castellanos, you now have to acknowledge that guy can't come out of the game. Brandon Marsh is playing well enough against right-handed pitching that he's not going to come out of the game.
Right.
Which means it's either me or Kepler. And I'm okay letting Kepler play because, quite frankly, I'm not getting the job done. And the numbers, by the way, we'll play those or we'll roll over the numbers in the month of August. The month of August just ended. Wait till you hear the numbers of Nick Castellanos, Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, Harrison Bader, and even Weston Wilson has an argument to say, why am I not playing over Nick Castellanos? That's coming up next. This is the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video streaming on the X platform, YouTube, at Mike Gill Show. Hang out with us all day long. Subscribe, be a part of the show, and text in your thoughts on the Phillies. Did they win you back over this weekend by winning 3 out of 4 against the Braves, by beating the Brewers in come-from-behind fashion yesterday? Let us know what you think. The Eagles getting ready for Dallas. We got plenty on that. Frank Klose has the Phillies mailbag. You'll hear from Nick Sirianni in the 3 o'clock hour. the unsportsmanlike moment of the day. Football at 4. The Nuggets are here. Jeff Kerr tonight. We're busy. We're ready to go. Football season. Phillies playoff run. It's all right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
When your AC is playing defense in the heat, it's time to call in the pros. Team up with Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air for a new Bryant high-efficiency coastal system built to handle South Jersey summers and salty air all season long. Score 0% financing with no money down, plus rebates and tax credits on select systems. Trust the team that's been serving South Jersey for over 100 years. Call Broadley's, your local factory-authorized Bryant dealer at 609-390-3907 or visit broadleys.net. Bryant, whatever it takes. Let's go Birds.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This Labor Day, the Home Depot is here to help you prep for the season. So no matter what you're working on, you can get your backyard ready for all the fall festivities. Refresh your garden with savings on a wide selection of colorful mums. Liven up your outdoor space with vibrant string lights. And find the perfect grill for your backyard barbecues this season from our wide selection of grills under $300. Get your fall project started this Labor Day at the Home Depot.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-972-4215. 800-972-4215. That's 800-972-4215.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
School's back in session, and if your kids still need something for back to school, then you should get to Macy's now. Come in and find everything on your list, like Active from Nike and Jordan, denim from Levi's and Good American, plus complete looks from Abercrombie Kids too. Even furniture and mattresses at our lowest prices of the season, just for your college student who still needs something for their room. It's all in one place, all at great prices, and it's all here now at Macy's.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, 2:31 Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Live video streaming on the X platform, YouTube, at Mike Gill Show. Subscribe, be a part of the show. And, of course, hit us up on the text board, social media, at Mike Gill Show. 609-403-0973 text board. Bobby in Wildwood says, as bad as Nick is right now, who's better? I mean, is that a fair question? That, listen, Nick Castellanos hasn't played well, but they don't have a better option. Like, has Max Kepler done enough to get, like, the full platoon right-handed at bats?
Well, before we hit the break, you said you had some numbers that said that maybe Nick Castellanos should be benched.
Well, since August 1st, Brandon Marsh, 316 with a 345 on-base percentage, 3 home runs, 7 RBI. Harrison Bader, since August 1st, 313, 385 on-base percentage, 2 homer, 9 RBI. Max Kepler, 263, 306 on-base, 3 homer, 10 RBI. He's actually got more RBI than everybody else in the outfield. Weston Wilson, 250, 273 on base, 2 homers, 7 RBI. Nick Castellanos, since August 1st, 180, 240 on base, 2 homer, 3 RBI. Those numbers pretty much tell you everything you need to know. Nick Castellanos is the least productive guy in the entire outfield. And it's not particularly close. He's hitting 180 with a 240 on base. I can't even believe he walked twice in the same game the other day and still managed to strike out twice. So I will play along with Bob in Wildwood, though. I'm not 100% saying that Max Kepler – see, the question is Max Kepler good enough to play 5 days a week of right field? Are you a good enough team? Or, as somebody else texted in, this is Paul in Millville. He says, Mike, in the playoffs, I feel that Castellanos' bat needs to be in the lineup every night. He was the only guy to show up for the Mets series last year and has had some playoff moments. I mean, he did have that series against the Braves where he was really, really, really good.
But, Mike, you've said numerous times that you cannot take what happens in one series or 1 year and automatically apply it to the next series the next year.
Well, listen, here's the problem I have with that is if he is hot in the Braves series, then you stick with him too much in the Diamondback series and you never take him out because you're waiting for him to get hot again.
Right.
It's almost a negative. I mean, I get it. Like, listen, if he's going to hit that hot, you want him in the lineup. I'm kidding around with that. But I'm saying that's the problem is for 3 games, and really that's what it is. It's, you know, when you're playing that Braves series, it's a 5-game series. He might be scorching hot for 3 of those games.
The other thing is, in the Diamondbacks team, your backup outfielder was Jake Cave. Now your other guy, you have better options now. You didn't have Harrison Bader 2 years ago.
Yeah, in the month of August, Max Kepler, 263, 306 on base, 3 homer, 10 RBI. He has been playable.
Yeah, but the point is that you have other options. You didn't have another option 2 years ago. Remember, that series ended with Jake Cave at bat. There's no Jake Cave anymore. Kepler and Bader are much better players as the backup outfielders than you had 2 years ago. So you actually do have an alternative to Castellanos now.
Castellanos right now, this is another very interesting thing that I think needs to be thrown into the mix. Castellanos against lefties is hitting 240. Against righties, he's hitting 255. He's actually been better against right-handed pitching than he's been against left-handed pitching. So I don't know what you do with that. He's a better option against right-handed pitchers, and that's why he's at least been getting some run against some right-handers, because then you throw Max Kepler's numbers into the mix. Here's the problem with Kepler. Kepler against lefties has been dreadful. He's hitting 196 against lefties. Against righties, he's not much better, 216, but he has shown a little bit of pop against right-handed pitching. He does have 13 homers against righty. His OPS 695, which is not all that good, by the way. But when you compare it to Castellanos, you're about the same. Castellanos is 690 OPS against lefties. So you're essentially, between Kepler and Castellanos, getting two really mediocre to below average options. So Castellanos might be saying, hey, listen, he's no better option than I am. He might have a point in terms of the big picture, but right now, recently, in the last month, they got to play Kepler. They got to play. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they got to play Kepler.
It goes back to the idea where, people always talk about earning your paycheck. And I don't know if Castellanos was promised something along the way that he feels like people, didn't communicate with him or talk to him, or he was led to think something else. But at the end of the day, if he can't understand that he is not playing as well as the other guys right now, then there's nothing you can do about it. If he doesn't get it, then that's on him.
Well, the numbers in August just tell you. I gave you a month of numbers, Nick. You're not getting the job done. What do you want me to do here? By the way, somebody mentioned that Castellanos will – let me read the text message here. This one is from Fred X. Frank. Says, when the playoffs roll around, Casty will heat up like a meteor entering the atmosphere. He always does. That's not the case.
He always does?
221 playoff hitter. He's hitting 221 in the playoffs with a 269 on-base percentage, a 685 OPS, which is dreadful, a 416 slugging percentage, which is not good. He does have 7 homers. 4 of them came in one series.
Right.
And, by the way, they were all solo homers. So, in that series against Atlanta in 2023, he hit 467 in 4 games with a 529 on-base percentage. I mean, his numbers were ridiculous. He had 19 total bases, 4 homers, 4 RBI. I mean, he was on another level. Well, then 1 week later, he hit 042 with 11 strikeouts. This is – I don't want to throw Kyle Schwarber under the bus here, but I will a little bit. He had 4 home runs in a game one night. Well, then he answers it with striking out 3 times in the last 2 games. 3 in each. People always get crazy. You had 4 hits one day. Why isn't he in the lineup? Well, Schwarber had 4 home runs one night. And then the next night he stunk. Just because you have 4 hits or 4 home runs in a game on Monday doesn't mean you're getting anything on Tuesday. So anything Nick Castellanos did in a 4-game stretch against Atlanta 2 years ago. Now, I will say, to be fair to Nick, that guy, Frank is accurate. Castellanos did have a good playoff series last year against the Mets. He hit over 400 in the series against the Mets. In the 4 games against the Mets last year, he hit 412 with 1 homer, 3 RBI. He was one of the few guys that did show up.
But there's no guarantee he's going to do it again this year.
No, well, there's no guarantee that anybody. I mean, you could put your best hitter out there and he can go, 0 for 12 in the playoff series. But the point is, you've got to build a sample size over the 162 to make me feel better about the fact Castellanos the last couple of years has been a pretty average guy. Now he's getting worse.
And by the way, you know who else has a great 1-series stretch in the postseason? Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader had a ridiculous series a couple of years ago for the New York Yankees, where he also had 4 home runs in his series. So does that mean that he automatically has to be in there as well?
I think right now for the Phillies, they would say yes. I think what he's doing in the month of August.
Oh, but that's different. I'm saying putting him in based on his past performance in a series or two, like you're saying about Castellanos. FedEx Frank, easy for me to say, is sitting there saying, well, Castellanos has a history where in 2 of how many series he hit really, really great.
Yeah, overall, Castellanos has not been a very good playoff performer, but in Philadelphia, he has had 2 series that have been pretty good. LJ from Millville. As much as I love Casty, while in the race for the NL East and maybe the NL, you need to ride the hot hands. This is a no-brainer at the moment, and Casty needs to grow up and do what's best for the team, even if it means sitting for a few nights. Yeah, I don't know the perfect way to play this, but what I would say is this. Him and Kepler are obviously the 2 weakest options in right field.
Yep.
Or the only 2 options in right field. I mean, and you just split them. You play Kepler against righties. You play Castellanos against lefties. And if there happens to be a righty that Castellanos has good numbers against in his career, then he can play against that righty.
Right, like Freddie Peralta on Thursday. He's got great numbers against Peralta.
And then you have another month of the season to Castellanos to say, look, this is the way it's going to be in September. Show us that we can change this.
Right.
That's basically your shot here. But this weekend, the story really was the whole Castellanos thing, how that is evolving. I think that was a major, major thing in this weekend because, quite frankly, the Phillies' offense did not perform well on Saturday, Sunday, or even Friday night. The one night that they played well was the night they scored 19 runs with all the home runs. And other than that, they won 3 out of 4 against the Braves, but didn't really score against them.
And then a game like yesterday where, I mean, that game was just a roller coaster ride. I mean, you can't really take too much from that game. That's just an encapsulation of just baseball happens.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll give them a lot of credit for fighting back. And then you go into the game and you have to go into your bullpen in the 5th inning. You sign a guy off the street on Sunday, and he's helping you out in the 5th inning of that game yesterday. Meza keeps the game where it was. You're down 2 runs in that game. He keeps you there. Then you bring Daniel Robert into the game, which I'm sure people were like, what the heck are you doing here? Well, people always complain when the manager calls on a guy that's not normally in that situation. Well, you don't know who's available and who's not available in that moment. And in the 6th inning, who was available in that spot last night? They went to the right guy, and he got the job done. He got 2 outs. He walked the guy, which you can't do, but he handed the ball over to Alvarado, who then eventually got out of the inning.
And I was telling the people who I was with yesterday, I said, look, Mazza is here in part because you're trying to take some of the wear and tear off of guys like Strom and Banks.
Well, Mazza is also here because I think he's probably going to be on the playoff team. Do you?
I'm not sure about that. I think that Bueller's definitely on the playoff roster.
Well, I think Walker Buehler will be on the playoff roster.
Yeah, I believe he's starting, Saturday?
No, he's going to start in AAA.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, first. And he's not going to say, I thought you meant he's going to start here.
No, he's starting at AAA, I believe, on Saturday.
The plan for him is, I'll give you the whole Walker Buehler sign the other day. I'll give you some insight on my mind, what I think that's all about. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Let's hit the text board hard today. 609-403-0973. We're back. Eagles-Cowboys this week. We're going to talk a little football later on in the show, plus Week 1 preseason edition. Who's in? Who's out? Who are the 14 NFL playoff teams? I'll read them off for you later on tonight in the Sports Bash 5 o'clock hour. I'm Mike Gill. Coming up, Walker Buehler. What is he doing here? I'll explain my thoughts on it coming up next on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
This Labor Day, the Home Depot is here to help you prep for the season. So no matter what you're working on, you can get your backyard ready for all the fall festivities. Refresh your garden with savings on a wide selection of colorful mums. Liven up your outdoor space with vibrant string lights. And find the perfect grill for your backyard barbecues this season from our wide selection of grills under $300. Get your fall project started this Labor Day at the Home Depot.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's gonna be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you're outside for work or just outside for fun, you need apparel and accessories that can keep up. At the Hub, you'll find it all. Lightweight shirts, cooling tees, shorts, hats, and boots, in sizes for men and women, including regular, big, and tall. The Hub has the brands you know and trust. Carhartt, Dickies, Timberland Pro, Wolverine, Wigwam, Levi's, and that's just the start. Need gear for the job site? They've got you covered. Looking for something comfortable for the weekend or the beach? They have that too. Stay cool with moisture-wicking fabrics, breathable button-ups, and lightweight work jackets for early mornings. The Hub is your summer destination for clothing that works as hard as you do. From rain gear to sun hats, steel-toe boots to casual sandals, they carry it all. Find the right fit, the right style, and the right price every time you shop.
The Post-Career Day Press Conference, brought to you by Progressive.
Anthony, can you tell us what happened during Career Day?
I'm a biomedical researcher. The kids just weren't impressed.
How did you feel when your son called in the backup?
Embarrassed, and I knew it would be a fireman. It's always a fireman. It's cliche, but a crowd favorite. He had an axe and everything. I can't compete with that.
And will the fireman be helping your son with his science fair project?
Hope not. I'm literally a scientist.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit FVGradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now. 800-417-6411. That's 800-417-6411. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-417-6411. 800-417-6411. And give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways. It is not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss? Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Attention Cumberland County businesses. Do you want to engage in valuable B2B networking? Do you want to showcase your business to the public? Do you need new employees? Then you need to join forces with the business community on Thursday, September 25th at the Cumberland County Business Expo and Job Fair. This event will be held from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Rowan College of South Jersey. Cumberland Campus Gym, 3322 College Drive, Island. Build sales, recognition, relationships, and your workforce. Hundreds of people are expected to attend. Sign up as an exhibitor or sponsor by September 19th to take advantage of this opportunity. Visit CumberlandExpo.com. This event is hosted by the Bridgeton, Millville, and Violin Chamber of Commerce, working together for a stronger Cumberland County economy. Co-sponsors of this event are the Authority, Rowan College, and Town Square Media. Showcase your business at the Cumberland County Business Expo. Register by September 19th for a lower fee at CumberlandExpo.com. The expo takes place at Rowan College of South Jersey, Cumberland Campus Gym in Violin on September 25th from 4 to 6:30 p.m.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
2:49 Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video streaming on the X platform, YouTube, at Mike Gill Show. So the Phillies signed Walker Buehler over the weekend, along with reliever Tim Meza. All right, so the Walker Buehler is obviously the big name here. He is a guy, he closed out the World Series last year for the Dodgers. He got the save in the convincing game. He also had a win 2 days earlier in that game. Pitched his ass off in that game. He's been one of the best postseason pitchers in baseball history, honestly. I mean, when you think about top big game performance, he's up on the list. So what is he doing here now? Why is he here? How did he even get here? He had a 7-7 record with a 5.45 ERA in 23 games for the Red Sox. He was not pitching well. Now, he did not pitch well last year with the Dodgers until the games had a little extra mustard on them. For whatever reason, Buehler has stepped up come playoff time. When the Phillies look for a guy who profiles as a guy who can pitch in the bullpen, does Walker Buehler profile as a better bullpen option than, say, Aaron Nola or Taijuan Walker? Look, this is a guy who, in his playoff career, he has made 18 postseason playoff starts in his career, and he does have one relief appearance, a save in Game 5 last year in the World Series for the Dodgers, closing out the deciding game. So he has big game moments in his arm. In 4 games, he's pitched in 3 different World Series, 2018, 2020, 2024. And in 4 games, his ERA is 0.47. 1 earned run in 19 innings pitched. Among all pitchers in big league history to start at least 3 games in the World Series, his ERA is 3rd all-time behind Madison Bumgarner and Jack Billingham. Now, overall, this season has not gone well for him. So it would be fair to ask, is Walker Buehler, does he have anything left in the tank? He's only 31 years old. So I have to think that he's just having a bad year. He switched leagues. But I will say this. I am way more intrigued by Walker Buehler pitching in my bullpen in the playoffs than Taijuan Walker. So if I have to build a bullpen and I need to figure out who's going to that bullpen, because what they're going to do is Buehler's going to pitch on September the 12th against the Royals. That will be his first big league start. So he will pitch that game. After that, I would imagine the Phillies are going to go to a 6-man rotation. So Buehler should probably make about 3 starts the rest of the season. And then from there, I think he goes to the bullpen, which is a much better option than Taijuan Walker. I don't want to say a better option than Aaron Nola. I just don't see them putting Aaron Nola in the bullpen. I just don't see it happening. So right now, the Phillies pitching between now and Buehler looks like this. Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, Luzardo, Walker. Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, Luzardo, Buehler. That's the way their pitching is set up. So it looks like Walker is either bumped out of the rotation or then he will get pushed to the next day. They do not have a starter announced for Saturday, September 13th.
You mentioned about Buehler coming out of the bullpen. Is he possibly a better option than Nola and Walker in the starting rotation?
We'll find out over his starts. He would get probably about 3 starts here. The question is, and this is what I see happening real quick. We'll talk to Frank about this coming up on the other side. Phillies Frank mailbag coming up at 3 o'clock today. What I think will happen is I do not think Nola will be on the playoff roster for the divisional round. And then he's the guy that pitches Game 4 in the championship round. I think he'll be the guy that gets that Game 4 start. But I don't think he'll be on the playoff roster if they're only in the division series. That's how I think they'll handle this. When we come back, Frank Klose, our Phillies insider from 97.3 ESPN.com, joins the show. Jump on board. Be a part of it. The Sports Bash is back for football season, baby. We got football at 4 with Adam Caplan. It's Eagles-Cowboys week.
Philadelphia Eagles football is back. Listen as the Super Bowl champions open the 2025 season, hosting their NFC East rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, on Thursday Night Football.
You don't do that. You don't help Cowboys to their feet.
Pre-game coverage begins at 7. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 8:20.
Back goes Prescott. He's looking. He steps up. He's hit, and he's dropped.
This is where the Super Bowl champs play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Ins 9/13. Select models only.
Make sure your home comfort is ready this season with Broadleaf's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. From fast service and reliable repairs to quality installs, Broadleaf's has you covered all season so you can focus on the game. Upgrade to a Bryant high-efficiency coastal system built for South Jersey summers and salty air with 0% financing and no money down. Trust the team serving South Jersey for over 100 years. Call 609-390-3907 or visit broadleafs.net. Bryant, whatever it takes. Go Birds!
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira-joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit calvielectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
Everyone's addiction recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help with your recovery. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today. A message from New Jersey Human Services.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-972-4215. 800-972-4215. That's 800-972-4215.
Why is NJM Insurance silent in an industry full of catchy jingles? And how do they do what's right when things go wrong? Tune in to Baffling Mysteries to find out.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
All right, 3 o'clock, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video, streaming on the X platform, YouTube, at Mike Gill Show. Hey, subscribe, be a part of the show. It's easy to do. 609-403-0973. A lot of Phil's questions. Phillies mailbag, Frank Klose. If you have a Phillies question that you want Frank to answer, send it in now. 609-403-0973. We'll go into his mailbag and see what people are wondering about right now. But we got questions ourselves. So let's pop in right now live here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, our 97.3 ESPN.com Phillies insider. Frank Klose is back with another edition of Frank's Phillies mailbag here on the Sports Bash September edition. What's going on, Frank?
Not much, Mike. How are you?
All good, bud. Busy weekend. Maybe the most entertaining, best win of the year last night. 3 out of 4 against the Braves. You can make an argument they should have swept that series. Come from behind. It was a tough, Sunday night baseball. Then having to travel to Milwaukee, down 3-0. They fight their way back. They blow the lead. Then they take it over. What did you take from the weekend that was from this Phillies team?
Well, when you win a lot of games, you don't have your bullpen available, right? So we saw by the end of that Braves series, they weren't necessarily going with all the options that they wanted as you got to those final couple games. So overall, really good. They took 3 out of 4 there. And to me, the win last night was really, really big. One, it's the Milwaukee Brewers, who are the leader in the National League. But that they were able to show some resilience there, right? And battle with all their pieces. So big win for that Phillies team. Gives you a lot more confidence in their ability to fight back, especially against the good teams like Milwaukee.
Yeah, and obviously, Taijuan Walker gets off to the rough start yesterday, but Tim Meza, they go to him in the 5th inning. Daniel Robert, I said Daniel Robert pitched some of the biggest innings of the game, even though, he got 2 outs in the game. But I don't think anybody anticipated him even getting those 2 outs. He walked the guy. That guy ended up scoring, but that's only because the error from Bryson Stott. I thought Daniel Roberts' inning was a very underrated inning because this is a low-leverage guy that pitched in a pretty high-leverage situation. I know it wasn't the 8th or 9th inning, but that was a spot in the game where you took the lead, and Robert could have easily felt too big for the moment and given that lead right back.
Yeah, I thought he was a little rough around the edges there. He still has some command issues, and I think that's when the Phillies signed him. I think they were looking to make sure that they could at least attempt to try to work out some of those command issues. But yeah, he overall did the job, and he's probably the guy on the roster that's the next to go when they need to add a roster spot. But overall, I think it's fair to say that. Yeah, he rose to the occasion, and it's a real shame of that Stott error happened then. But he did a nice job yesterday. Again, he's there in the middle innings, right? So again, might not have been the choice if everybody was available, but kudos to him for gutting that out.
All right, got some questions here in the mailbag. Let's go to Eddie's question. Why would the Phillies bring up Garrett Stubbs with the September call-ups? How does that help having another catcher? A lot of people were wondering, why was it Stubbs as one of the guys instead of a younger player?
Yeah, the September call-ups, as we know them, are long gone. It used to be you could add up to anybody on your 40-man roster. In fact, the 2018 Phillies, I think, were either one away or maybe had all 40 active in the dugout. In order to manage the stretch run a little bit better, a little bit more parity. They agreed to go to 28. So essentially right now in this day and age, you add one extra pitcher because you're only allowed to go up to 14. and you add essentially for most teams a third catcher. And the reason why you add the third catcher is the position is a very physically demanding position, and you probably want to get to the playoffs with your catching core intact. And so if you look at the Phillies in particular, JT Realmuto, there was a lot of talk about how him maybe playing some first base or being a designated hitter or getting some at-bats. Maybe they even were talking outfield early on. But the Phillies hesitated to do that because if you even put him in as a DH for the day and put Schwarber in left field, then your backup catcher and catcher are both on the field, which makes it difficult if there is even a minor injury to somebody that requires them to leave the game. So it kind of changes things in that respect too. The Phillies would still like to get Realmuto out from behind the plate some more. In fact, if you look at his bat lately, he's kind of showing some of that wear of playing every day. So he might be able to be a DH for you. He might be able to pinch hit for you. And the thought is then you now have two catchers to help make that happen. And, of course, Marchand probably played less of any – I haven't looked it up, but he's probably played the least of any backup catcher in baseball. Philly's backup catcher was always one of the last couple. But
so the big question would be playoffs, Marchand or Stubbs? Because that backup catcher never plays.
To me, I think this is a lot more about working with the pitchers than Stubbs batting for sure. And I think that him being up, they want to get him to work with the pitchers too. And it would not honestly totally shock me if Stubbs is on the playoff roster and not Marchand. You're not going to risk losing Marchand at that point like you would have lost him if Stubbs had been called up and replaced him. So I think that could happen, right? But let's face it, you just had spring training for Stubbs to work with Luzardo, for example. And let's say, hopefully not, but if there's an injury to one of the catchers, he needs to be able to work with him. He needs to be able to work with some of these new guys the Phillies have brought into the organization recently. So having Stubbs there and part of the game planning and knowing the pitchers is going to be very, very important. And, if by the way, if you want to consider the younger players, as you just said, I mean, they have Johan Rojas and Otto Kemp on the 40-man roster. Both have been up. Not necessarily a game changer if you add that bat to the mix. And the other option would have been Justin Crawford. And, think about Crawford. He's not on the 40-man roster. If he comes up, then you're automatically taking away one of his contract options as you go into next year, because then if he doesn't make the team, he would have to be optioned to the minor leagues. So they're trying to be patient on that end and keeping Crawford there, especially without a place to play. And I think if this was a 40-man roster situation, then he comes up just to be your pinch runner. But the world has changed a little bit, and so I think the Phillies would perhaps go into the offseason even thinking in their roster construction, Crawford could be on the team to start the year. But right now, the Phillies are kind of set at outfield so no real reason to start that clock right now.
All right, let's get into the moves over the weekend here. We got a bunch of questions on the text board. Whose roster spot does Walker Buehler take when he's called up? Does Miza play any significant role? I see the mailbag over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Why Walker Buehler? Will he actually help the Phillies in the playoffs? Give us your thoughts, Frank, on how this move, what it does for this Phillies team. How do they use Walker Buehler? And is Tim Meza a guy who you think is a playoff roster pitcher?
So I'll talk Tim Meza first. I think he is a rostered player in the playoffs for the Phillies. He was good enough to be on the Yankees roster last year. And by the way, you may not realize this, but Meza and Walker Buehler were the two pitchers on the mound in the last two World Series wins last year. But Tim Meza, I think he's going to kind of slip into that third lefty role vacated by Jose Alvarado because he cannot be on the playoff roster. And Meza's an experienced veteran. He's had some success in the major leagues. He was a key setup man for Jordan Romano in Romano's heyday as an all-star closer. Struggled a little bit in 2023. Last year was pretty decent. Again, was a pickup by the Yankees, and they rode him all the way through to the World Series. So I think Meza is going to be part of this. And it was a pretty shrewd pickup by the Phillies to pick him out of a rehab stint in AAA and get him onto their major league roster. Now for Buehler, the idea here is, remember a few weeks ago before we knew the Zach Wheeler injury, we knew that they were looking at going to a 6-man rotation for the month of September. And the reason was they wanted to try to alleviate some of the wear on that starting rotation. I mean, Wheeler, of course, is hurt. But when you look at the rest of the starters, Chris Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Ranger Suarez, Taijuan Walker, Aaron Nola, they still wanted them to have that rest. And so adding Buehler, who was essentially the only real starting pitcher option that was out there, gives them the ability to do that. Now, will Walker return to form? He did not necessarily have the greatest year up in Boston this year, losing his roster spot to one of their top prospects just recently. But he was available. And we all saw that Andrew Painter really hasn't been able to put it together at AAA. In fact, in the month of August, he has a 7.77 ERA. And so I think that the Phillies are recognizing that, yes, it's not the time for Painter. And so they wanted one more arm in the mix. And really, he's their depth right now, if hopefully not, but if somebody else gets hurt. So kind of a shrewd pickup there. I don't think they necessarily have plans one way or the other for the playoff rotation. I think that's going to have to work itself out. But he was the one available there. The Red Sox had a really good rotation. He didn't fit in it. He's still a starting pitcher. He can help the Phillies right now meet their goal of providing that extra rest for their starters. So I think that's the plan right now.
So he'll be one of the starters through September here.
Yeah, so he's going to join the rotation.
Does he profile as a guy? I mean, he did close out the final game of the World Series. That was one game, though. Do you see him? Because the Red Sox moved him to the bullpen. He only pitched one game out of the bullpen for them before they said, all right, this isn't going to work. But would he make it on the playoff roster over, say, a Taijuan Walker?
He could, but I think a lot depends on how well he pitches the rest of the way. Again, he has the track record, but I don't think they've thought that far ahead per se. I think he is here to be the sixth starter, and then if it works out, that's great. And as I was telling somebody on Twitter the last couple days, someone was saying, well, why? Like I said, well, it's really no risk. All he cost them was money. And if he's not good enough, he doesn't make the postseason roster. I think it comes down to that. So I think both pickups were pretty shrewd. I mean, if you were looking at the roster as a whole, their depth was kind of waning. Alan Ronhell, Max Lazar, a lot of the names that we've seen cycle back and forth and again and again and again, this gives them some fresh options. And so be interesting to see how they work out. But Walker Buehler will start on Friday, September 12th against the Kansas City Royals, and we'll kind of see how things go from there.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. And obviously, you have – I agree with you. Like between now and the end of September, I don't think – like right now, I don't think they have any idea who would pitch game number 2. Do you?
I mean, obviously, Sanchez is going to go 1, and then 2 would be – I suppose the leading contender would be Suarez. But, I mean, we're still waiting to see what Aaron Nola does.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think they have any idea right now who would be the game. You said it. We all know that Sanchez is going to pitch game 1, but I don't think they would know right now today who's our number 2 and who our number 3 is. I think they're still evaluating that. And then the Nola thing is lingering here if he doesn't start to pitch better.
Yeah, very, very fair to say. And, Nola's going to write his own ticket the rest of the way. I mean, you've seen some signs of some life there. I mean, obviously missing all that time. His ramp up in the minor leagues was minimal. So we'll see what he can do. So, but you're right. I think there are some open options. But I will say the nice thing about this rotation, I mean, you even saw, even with the Walker start, I know he did not have the ideal start, but they weren't totally blown out of the game. And so the Phillies can stay in these games, and I think that's really important as you head down the stretch.
By the way, last year in the divisional round, they kept 12 pitchers. So you had left-handers, Kobe Allard, Jose Alvarado, Tanner Banks, Christopher Sanchez, Matt Strom, and Ranger Suarez. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lefties. And then you had Estevez, Hoffman, Kirkering, Nola, Ruiz, and Zach Wheeler. So 12 pitchers in all. Now, in the division series, you only need 3 starting pitchers, which means 9 of those guys will likely be relief pitchers. And we'll see if Nola is one of the 3 starters. If he's not one of the 3 starters, is he on the roster is the question.
I think so. If nothing else, as a courtesy, because as you said, there's going to be a lot of room for relief pitchers. So, and they have the depth. So I definitely think he's on the roster no matter what. But, you
In
know,
2023, by the way, in 2023, they kept 13 pitchers on the Division Series roster. And in 2022, they also kept 13 pitchers.
yeah. And honestly, I think for a lack of better options, I'll put it this way: could they throw Johan Rojas on and just he's the pinch hitter in the playoffs? They could.
Pinch runner,
but,
you mean?
A pinch runner, excuse me. I think they can make a move like that, but I think it'll be on a case by case basis, depending on how the previous series ended and what they need. I still wouldn't be shocked if Nola starts in the playoffs, but he's got a short leash, and one of those other starters is behind him, ready to go if necessary. Remember, with all those players and those days off. All those pitchers in the bullpen, they can have quick hooks on their starters if necessary.
And they generally do. You have all those extra pitchers in the bullpen. You see a lot of times they're going to the bullpen in the fourth inning or the fifth inning of a game in a key situation. You get a couple runners on base in the fourth. A lot of times they'll get you out of that game and go to a fresh arm and turn that into a bullpen game. All right, Steven wants to know the question that everybody wants to know. I think his question is a little bit more harsh, but what is the role of – I don't say harsh – what is the role of Nick Castellanos on this team right now? This whole Castellanos thing, I think, is starting to bubble a little bit. His back and forth the other night, getting pulled defensively, Paco Figueroa being the one that told him that he didn't play yesterday. I mean, we're starting to see the beginning of the Phillies put their big boy pants on with him. So what's his role?
They have to, Mike. I mean, he has just not been playing well, and this is a results-oriented game. The Phillies are here to win a World Series. They're not here to stroke Nick Castellanos' ego. And if he's not the best option, then he can't play every day. I mean, I think at this point, we're looking at an outfield where Brandon Marsh, Harrison Bader, and Max Kepler have been performing the best. They were the lineup against the Brewers. They were the lineup in that 19-run blowout of Atlanta. And if you look at their numbers, Nick Castellanos is batting just .095 in his last 7 games. And if you go back over the last 30, it's just 186 with a 556 OPS. That is not good. And in the 30-day sample I like better because that's just showing that it's been an extended period of time. And Mike, let me go through the numbers with the other outfielders. Brandon Marsh, in those 30 days, 316 batting average, 859 OPS. Harrison Bader, 333 batting average, 920 OPS. Max Kepler, 273 batting average, 858 OPS. And getting some key RBIs late in games as well. Don't forget that too, Mike. So it's really hard to argue with those numbers. And then those are just the offensive numbers. If you look at the defensive metrics, outs above average, he's second to last. Defensive runs saved, Castellanos is last. So he's not faring well as an outfielder. And if he's not hitting too, that makes it really, really difficult to play him. And now I think the splits favor Marsh against righties predominantly. But, you're going to have to still maybe platoon him. But Castellanos, he's kind of become a platoon partner to somebody because he's really probably going to mostly start against left-handed pitching. And if there's a tough righty like yesterday, he's not going to face him. And, I think between now and the end of the year, he might be sour, but they got to win games, Mike. This is what they're here for. And again, it's all about the results. And the other three are doing very, very – even Kepler, if you look at Kepler's overall numbers, they're underwhelming. But what I told you in the last 30 days, he's kind of heating up at the right time. He can carry him down the stretch, and he's got a better glove. So I think, they're asking about his role for now. I think he's almost, I'd say not fully. They will play him against some righties, but he's kind of in a platoon. And they're in a pennant race, and if he's performing that poorly, he can't play.
Well, we'll see that thing emerge because obviously they do face a left-hander tomorrow in Quintana, so he would probably be in the lineup there. Then we would see if he's back in the lineup against Peralta, who, by the way, he has good numbers against. So maybe that's how they play this. You'll play against lefties and then right-handers who you do have good numbers against. Because quite frankly, Kepler's been better, but he hasn't really said, hey, you got to play me every day. Neither one of those guys have really grabbed that. But if you're choosing, you got to play the better defensive player.
Yeah, I agree. And Kepler's bat is hot right now. And again, I saw a stat on the scoreboard on Friday. I forget the exact stat, but he's he's a leader on the team and late RBI, and I think the Phillies need that right now.
All right, Frank Klose, 97.3 ESPN.com. Phil's off tonight. They are back in action tomorrow. It's a weird quirk in the schedule where they play on a Monday but not Tuesday, and then they'll have Nola tomorrow against Quintana, and Ranger Suarez will pitch Thursday against Freddie Peralta. So some good pitching matchups in this series, although yesterday Mizorowski, 10-8 game, Phillies win over the Brewers. They fall within 4.5 games of Milwaukee now. They padded their lead up to 6 now against the Mets. We'll have coverage of the Phillies and Brewers series right here on the Sports Bash. And, of course, Frank Klose, our Phillies insider over at 97.3 ESPN.com, has more on the Phils. Check out his mailbag every Tuesday right here on the Sports Bash. All right, Frank, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, there's Frank Klose, everybody, 97.3 ESPN.com. Every Tuesday we do the mailbag, and, of course, as the playoff season, Red October gets here, we'll have plenty more of the Phillies coverage here on the Sports Bash. Don't forget, coming up, the Eagles take on the Cowboys this week, and we have all the coverage for you on 97.3 ESPN. This hour of the show, it's brought to you by Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your trusted source for heating, plumbing service, and installation for generations. Call 609-390-3907, online, broadlease.net. Josh, the Baltimore Ravens are doing something that I have suggested. Not exactly the same thing, but something that I kind of suggested. See this?
This is a very vague reference by you. You were keeping this as unspecific as humanly possible.
I said the Baltimore Ravens are doing something. You either saw it or you didn't. All right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. The Ravens have announced that they are going to have a menu of 11 items under $5 at their games.
Oh, I've heard about this, yes. They're one of the couple NFL teams that are doing this.
Yes. So, a barbecue chicken sando for $4.99, nachos for $4.49, a hot dog for $3.49, a pretzel for $1.99, French fries $3.49, peanuts $3.49, Blackbird chips for $2.49, popcorn $1.99, a 12-ounce beer $4.99, a 24-ounce soda $3.99, and a 20-ounce water for $3.49. Now, you can make an argument that some of those prices are even ridiculous, but that should be the norm. There should be areas of the stadium where you can get this stuff for under $5. And I said, they're actually going above and beyond. All I said is I want a lousy burger or a hot dog, fries, the nachos with the terrible nacho cheese.
Oh, yes.
You know the nachos that I'm talking about.
Sure.
That's all I'm asking for. They've gone above and beyond here with giving you a barbecue chicken sandwich, a beer for $4.99. In what world can you go to any event? You know, I went to a concert Saturday night. The beer was $16.
That's ridiculous.
$16 for the beer.
For those who don't know, so the Ravens and the Falcons are the only two teams in the NFL that have cut concession prices in the last 10 years.
Which tells you what?
It's doable. You should go to Ravens games.
More Sports Bash coming up. When we return, you'll hear from Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. Now, Vic Fangio, he kicked the can down the road. He passed the buck to Sirianni.
Yes, he did.
He said Sirianni will tell you who the starters are. Did he answer any of those questions today? Find out next when you hear from Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni right here on the Sports Bash.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio stunt would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.
Is your home game day ready? Don't get sidelined this season with a heating or cooling breakdown. With a Jenkins service contract, you'll get reliable coverage, priority scheduling, and peace of mind all season long. For over 76 years, local homeowners have trusted Jenkins to keep their comfort system in winning form. Stay ahead of the competition. Lock in your service contract now and score big savings. Call 609-641-6262 or visit jenkinsandsons.com today and make sure your home is always ready for kickoff.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with a Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99. And we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale. Now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-972-4215. 800-972-4215. That's 800-972-4215.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today. A message from New Jersey Human Services.
Labor Day savings are happening right now at the Home Depot. So what are you working on? Prep for fall with our wide selection of cordless power tools that make it easy to clear your lawn, starting at $79. And once the leaves are clear, keep your yard looking fresh with colorful mums that bloom all season long. Shop Labor Day savings now through September 3rd, only at the Home Depot. See select stores for details.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random +1.
I am honored to be standing here today, also confused and a little hungry. Does anyone want to switch entrees? Pretty sure I checked beef.
You wouldn't settle for just any speech, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit CalviElectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
It's
is The Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, 329 Sports Bash. You're going to hear from Nick Sirianni now. Vic Fangio said the other day, he was asked the questions. Who's the corner? Who's the linebacker? Who's the safety? Nick will give you those answers. Well, you're going to hear from Nick Sirianni in a minute. Real quick, how about this? As a courtesy to all Eagles fans, tailgates should be consolidated so all parking spaces can be available to every fan. This can be done by arranging a tailgate set up in front of or behind the parked vehicle within the painted white lines of the parking spot to avoid added congestion. The Eagles are asking fans without a ticket to not travel to the South Philadelphia Sports Complex. Arrangements should be made to enjoy the game with families and friends at another location. How many people will adhere to that plea?
This is going to be interesting because there is a slew of people who just go for the tailgate. They don't even go to the game.
Exactly. So they literally just go to tailgate. The Eagles are saying, don't tailgate here. Go tailgate someplace else.
This is going to be a huge complication moving forward.
How many people listening right now planned on going to the game just to tailgate? How many people listening right now are going to the game? How many people listening right now, like for instance, I know our friends over at Philly Sports Trips, they do just the tailgate parties.
Correct.
Can't do that, is what the Phillies, the Eagles are saying, don't do that.
You know, in an hour when Nick Earnshaw comes on for Nuggets, I want you to ask him about this because Nick Earnshaw has been known to go to tailgates and then walk somewhere else to watch the game.
That's what you do. Go over to Xfinity Live, or what's it called now?
Oh, I can't
Stateside?
Stateside, is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, you go down there, you
Yeah.
get in the atmosphere, and then you watch the game somewhere.
Right.
They're saying, don't do it. Not welcomed here.
I want to know what Nick
Let me read
Nick
this
Earnshaw
again.
thinks.
To avoid added congestion, the Eagles are asking fans without a game ticket to not travel down to the South Philadelphia Sports Complex. Arrangements should be made to enjoy the game with family and friends at another location.
Arrangements should be made. Doesn't mean they will be made.
Real quick, before we get to Sirianni, did you see the Tush Push got a sponsor?
I saw that you wrote something at 973ESPN.com, correct?
If the Tush Push were to get a sponsor, what would that sponsor be? 609-403-0973. I will read off the best answers after we hear from Nick Sirianni. But there's two ways. You can go to our website and find the answer or text in. The Tush Push has a sponsor now. The play has a sponsor. If the Tush Push has a sponsor, which it now does, who would that sponsor be? You almost feel like saying wrong answers only.
Right.
But the wrong answers might
be
actually be the right answer.
Exactly.
The way this is going to work is the partnership will include an ongoing series of collaborative social content throughout the season, product sampling at team-hosted events, and post-game radio highlighting the team's successful Tush Pushes. The partnership will kick off ahead of the opener on Thursday against the Dallas Cowboys. So, here's the question. The Tush Push has a sponsor. Who is the sponsor? 609-403-0973. Let's get to Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni.
Bit of a simple question, but I'd imagine this time of year, a lot of thoughts are just going through your mind, especially like during the national anthem of game one. It's just a lot of perspective. How are you feeling heading into this season, just in terms of your team, how far you've come personally, that type of stuff?
I think that we've had a good training camp. I think we had good OTAs. I think our habits are going in the right direction, and you focus on those things as every practice that we go through, we're thinking about how did we tackle, how did we take care of the football, how did we take it away, how did we catch it, how did we block. And so you're just looking for those to constantly be on the rise. And I think, when you practice with the intensity that our team practices with, and you get that good on good work that we've gotten for so long. You know, our good offensive line is going against our good defensive line. You know, you have no choice but to get better. And so I feel good about that. You know, now we got to go do it. We got to let our habits take over in the game. You know, as coaches, we got to let our habits take over in the game as players. But I feel good about where we are right now. And this will be a really good test against a really good opponent.
Speaking of habits, I asked Jalen about how you've emphasized habits. He said you've had a habit of saying contribution over credit.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that originate, and why was that something you wanted to get across?
I think you're just constantly trying to think of new ways to say different, the same thing. If I say you can't be great without the greatness of others for an entire year, again, that feels repetitive. So it's just another way of saying that, really. Is we're looking for contributions on it from everybody, and you need everyone's contribution. You need every. It's really at the end of the day, it's the same thing of saying you can't be great without the greatness of others. Contribution over credit, because if we get the contributions from everybody that we talked about, their roles and what they need to do, and then their elevated roles if they need to step into an elevated role, good things will happen. And so that only happens though with your habits of are you getting better every single day.
Did Landon's back injury happen in between Sunday and Monday's practice, or was that pre-existing?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into when that happened or anything like that.
Does the knee not being listed mean that otherwise he is cleared?
Yeah, we only list the things on the injury report that would be limit them in practice.
Nick, are there, to follow up on Brooks's question, are there certain positions where with those players you might have to talk to them more about that kind of more individualized position, for instance, wide receiver, something like that? You have to drive that point home more?
I think the most important thing that we do is just make sure that the job description is very clear. So there's no, in everything, I take a lot of pride that in here that they leave this team meeting and there's no question of what's required from me. I want them to play tough, detailed together, and they know exactly what that vision looks like. And it's the same thing with when we talk, I'm assuming you're asking me about the roles and the contribution and that portion of it. And it's the same thing there. Again, for instance, it's hard to say that, Mike, that like one position is more emphasized than the other. Now, you're just being honest with every person and everybody right there about what the expectation is. So there's not a guess on it, right? Hey, we've had this role in the past, like. We need you as a wide receiver. Might look what we asked Darius Cooper is going to look a little bit different than when we ask A.J. Brown to do. But it's just being upfront with that and say, Coop, when you get your opportunities, to touch the football, you got to make it count. You're going to have to do some of this dirty work. That's so necessary for a football team. So everybody's explanation or job description is based off of them uniquely. And I wouldn't say I spend more time on one than the other. It's just whatever it is for that person. Did I answer your question?
Look, wide receivers are going to judge themselves at some level by how often they get the ball thrown to them and how many catches they get.
I think what you just said is important. I think what the outside world does sometimes is factor the person's stats. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what everybody needs to do to help this football team win. When you get influenced by the outside world of what they think success is or what they think is impactful for that position, that's my point. Like contribution, we need your contribution. I don't need your contribution to have 27 catches in 2 games or whatever. I need your contribution to be this, and that's a team. And so I think that's really important too, that we don't get caught up on, our job as a football team and as players and as coaches is to win every game. And I've talked about this, with Jalen, Jalen, I love how selfless he is, right? He's been so efficient as a quarterback, taking care of the football, efficient of going where the right place with the football. And then there's judgment on the outside of, well, he didn't throw for this many yards or didn't throw for this many touchdowns. I don't care. He was efficient with the football, and he did everything he needed to do for us to win the game. That doesn't just apply with your star football player in Jalen Hurts. That also applies for the rest of the team.
A couple more.
You guys, for those watching the game, that there's a new play caller and a new OC.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Nick said that that he was going to leave it up to you to announce the starters at corner and safety. So.
You'll see when we get to that. Yeah, I just don't think it's any. I don't think it's.
Yes.
I hate saying, like, I always respect your guys' job of what you guys got to do, and I appreciate your persistence and your relentlessness, because we teach that a lot, is persistence and relentlessness to do our job. And I just don't think at this particular time it benefits us to say that when I don't have to. So, yeah, I'll announce it on Thursday.
You guys have emphasized, you're moving on from last year. The last banner night in 2018, it's famous that the fans booed the Eagles at halftime because they weren't happy with the way things were going, albeit it was banner night. How do you feel about the fact that even though it is banner night for you guys, the fans will still have the standard of performing and winning at a high level?
Yeah, I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out for that.
All right, the last one, guys. With Joe this offseason and this summer.
I think he's been so consistent. And, you know, for my 5th year here, that's why he continues to get better, because of his consistency. So I just appreciate that from him.
All right, there's Nick Sirianni. There you go. He didn't give an answer. Who's starting? Vic Fangio said you would tell everybody. No, I'm not telling you. No surprise there. Banner night. Yeah, I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out on the field. So when the banner is unveiled, no Eagles will be out there. How about that? Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video streaming on the X platform, YouTube. The Eagles have a sponsor for the Tush Push. Who is the sponsor? Some answers coming in on the text board. Is it Cottonelle Wipes? You're close, George and Galloway. Preparation H from James in Delaware. Funny.
It's a good one.
Depends from James in Delaware. It's not depends. The Center Exchange Suppositories from Mr. Bob Dabalina in Northfield. I got you, Bob Dabalina. Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina. This guy got it right. Tom C. says it's OnlyFans. No, it is not OnlyFans. Not bad. This one says Tampax. Probably not the right audience.
Probably
Maybe.
not.
Frank at Summers Point, you got it right. You must have gone to the website, 973ESPN.com. Another Preparation H. The Preparation H Tush Push. Nope, that's not right. Johnson & Johnson Baby Oil. Jeez, God.
Wrong people.
What's the frequency, Kenneth? Tim in Summers Point, you got it right. What else we got here? Magnums. Clever. Good try. The correct answer is Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes are the new sponsor for the Tush Push. So it will be the Dude Wipes Tush Push. Now, they're not going to announce it during the game.
I would hope not.
Not on the television. This is more of a local sponsorship between the Eagles and their social media team. So it's not like you're going to hear Joe Buck, hey, they're lining up for the Dude Wipes Tush Push.
That'd be funny if he did, though.
Hysterical. Or the Preparation H. Or the Magnums.
Or Cottonelle.
Now, I used to be a Cottonelle user. I have kind of shifted over to the Dude Wipe.
Really?
Yeah. I was hardcore Cottonelle in my life.
So what made the change for you?
So I went to Sam's Club one day, and they made the switch over to Dude Wipes. So I said, you know what? They're here. I'll try them. They were on Shark Tank. That's what kind of got them popular.
Right.
But they were at Sam's Club, and they didn't have Cottonelles that one time. So I said, all right, they're here. I'll give them a shot.
So basically, Cottonelle got Wally pipped.
I kind of like the Cottonelle better, but the Dude Wipe, it's a larger circumference. All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video streaming on the X platform, YouTube. When we come back, it is the unsportsmanlike moment of the day. Congratulations to Chris Canty. He's having a baby, but that's not the moment of the day. Find out what is coming up next.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
On 97.3 ESPN.
Score a touchdown when you bank with Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. Catch lower rates on loans and higher rates on savings. You'll cheer when you don't have to pay a penny to get your own money since they offer 85,000 surcharge-free ATMs. Get the details or open an account online with just a $25 minimum deposit at JerseyShoreFCU.org or swing to a branch in Northfield, Galloway, Hamilton, or Rio Grande. Federally insured by NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Football is back. Our world champion Birds kick off their season against Dallas Thursday, September 4th. And the place to be? Ventnor Social, Down Beach's newest upscale sports bar. It all starts with the ultimate family-friendly tailgate party at 5:30, featuring a live DJ and food and drink specials to keep you fired up till kickoff. Then watch every play come to life on 27 big screen TVs with a sound system that puts you right in the action. Get in on the excitement at Ventnor Social on Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor. Follow them on Facebook for specials.
The post-crib assembly press conference, brought to you by Progressive.
Michael, you had some trouble putting the crib together today. What went wrong?
You know, those instructions can be tough, and, well, you saw the outcome.
Were you upset when your wife pulled you and called in the backup?
No, I mean, the baby needs a crib to sleep in, so whatever it takes.
You've got a changing table to put together next. It's got a lot of drawers. What's your comment?
You know what? We're done here.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Labor Day savings are happening right now at the Home Depot. So what are you working on? Prep for fall with our wide selection of cordless power tools that make it easy to clear your lawn, starting at $79. And once the leaves are clear, keep your yard looking fresh with colorful mums that bloom all season long. Shop Labor Day savings now through September 3rd, only at the Home Depot. See select stores for details.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
When your AC is playing defense in the heat, it's time to call in the pros. Team up with Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air for a new Bryant high-efficiency coastal system built to handle South Jersey summers and salty air all season long. Score 0% financing with no money down, plus rebates and tax credits on select systems. Trust the team that's been serving South Jersey for over 100 years. Call Broadley's, your local factory-authorized Bryant dealer at 609-390-3907 or visit broadleys.net. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Let's go Birds. You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And it just keeps getting better.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Kalen DeBoer had a bad loss to FSU this weekend. Unless he didn't. Unless FSU's actually good again. But who did you want that was a better candidate than the guy who has literally never been bad as a head coach? Coming off of going to a national championship game, a week prior? Who did you want? Did you expect a guy to be as good as Nick Saban? Utterly impossible.
That was Evan Cohen this morning on Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN. Is Evan Cohen right? Now, I bring this up because people are usually irrational when it comes to the head coach. Is Evan Cohen right, though, that Kalen DeBoer should be given the benefit of the doubt? We're talking about Alabama football here.
So Kellen DeBoer now has lost 4 games to unranked opponents since becoming Alabama head coach. That's 4 games in 14. Nick Saban also had lost 4 games to unranked opponents in 230 games.
Wow. So the big question is, when Kalen DeBoer got hired by Alabama, was he a popular pick?
He was not, because if you read the book The Price by Armin Katayan, it documents that guys like Julian saying, Nick Saban told him, hey guys, Kellen's the new guy, give him a chance. Julian Sayin had a meeting with Kellen DeBoer and he transferred immediately. Now he's at Ohio State.
So the point that Evan Cohen makes that I agree with is you got a coach that was in the national championship game. The question, I guess, would be, just because he was in the national championship game, does that mean he was the right fit for Alabama? Alabama essentially said, we're going to go out and get the guy who's the hot name right now, but might not be the hot name tomorrow.
Correct.
So I think where I look at Evan Cohen and say, he asked a question that I would agree with. Who would have been the right fit for Alabama? That's the question. Who should they have targeted if not the guy who was in the national championship game with Washington? Who would have been the right guy? Because the problem is the next guy after Nick Saban is always going to be the wrong guy.
Yeah, and that's where the whole thing was flawed. They put DeBoer in a no-win situation because he's never really recruited that part of the country. He's never been a guy who coached at a program like Alabama as a head coach before. You know, coaching at Washington and Fresno State are very different than Alabama.
So I do blame Alabama a little bit here, is that they weren't cognizant enough to say, hey, look, this guy's a really good head coach. He's in the national championship game, but he's not the right fit for where we are in the country.
Right.
Like you're going to the Pacific Northwest and saying, hey, come down and recruit the deep South.
Right.
So while I understand what Evan Cohen's saying, I think Alabama misplayed this whole thing. They went out and got the hot name, but not the right name for Alabama. That's all I'm thinking about as I'm watching that game on Saturday. Last night, Bill Belichick, you know his quarterback last night the same age as his girlfriend?
Sounds about right.
Both 24. Belichick looked like he wanted to be anywhere else but where he was. He was the wrong guy for that situation last night. Kellen DeBoer, wrong guy for Alabama. So I got to say I disagree with Evan Cohen. Who did you want? Anybody but Kalen DeBoer is who I would want.
Did you see what the odds are now for who will be the next head coach of Alabama?
Did I get those lines sent to me today?
I saw it this weekend, so I was wondering if you saw the same thing I saw.
I thought I possibly saw something. No, I didn't see it. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember.
John Gruden.
Okay. Interesting.
Would that interest you?
Interesting. I'm trying to think. What about the guy who was at LSU?
Oh, Ed Orgeron?
Yeah.
He's a Bayou boy.
I know, but he's a guy from the South, SEC style. He's not going back to LSU. You can't only coach at one school.
That's true.
But just like Saban went from LSU to Alabama, he can recruit down there. Football at 4 is up next.
As the saying goes, knowledge is power. And when it comes to reading our food labels, that couldn't be more important. Food manufacturers want to get our attention at the grocery store. Bright colors, cool packaging, creative displays. They can all be very enticing, yet overwhelming when trying to make a decision. And it's not by accident. Read the nutrition label carefully and educate yourself about what goes into your body. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update. Hi, it's Robin Stoloff, excited to moderate the free NJ Healthy Aging Summit, Opioid Safety and Alternatives, September 26th at the Golden Nugget. Reserve your seat now at njhealthyaging.org. Sponsored by the Partnership for a Drug-Free New Jersey, paid for with funding from the Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Get away to the Atlantic City in Waterboat Show. 4 days only, September 4th to the 7th at the Golden Nugget Marina. See the new boat models from all the major manufacturers. Buy $15 advance tickets at acinwaterboatshow.com. See you there.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-972-4215. 800-972-4215. That's 800-972-4215.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today. A message from New Jersey Human Services.
Labor Day savings are here at the Home Depot with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Keep your routines running smoothly with an LG refrigerator you can count on from the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to replace the filter. Gear up for fall with Labor Day savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid August 21st through September 10th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included. for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit calvielectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him, it's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Adam Caplan. Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast.
I give my heart and soul to this franchise, as so many of us do.
Now live, this is Football at 4.
Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, brought to you by the Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Go to the gallery this football season, including Thursday night for the Eagles and the Cowboys. We'll be there on Friday. Check us out on Friday for the Sports Bash, and on Monday next week. Back-to-back shows at the Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. By the way, the Eagles injury report from yesterday, Landon Dickerson was listed on the injury report as a DNP. We'll get an update on that in just a couple of moments. Usually the injury report comes out right about this time here. Also, today you just heard the press conference from Nick Sirianni. He was asked about Landon Dickerson's back injury, and he said, yeah, I'm not going to get into that when that happened or anything like that. So we'll talk about that and more with Adam Caplan, who'll be joining us in just a moment here on the Sports Bash Live. But the injury report is out for today, and a DNP today for Tanner McKee. I would imagine he is not available for the game. Sam Howell will likely be your backup quarterback for week number 1. Full participant today for Jalen Carter, Landon Dickerson, Andrew Makuba, and Josh Uche, also with a groin problem. So a light injury list for the Eagles today. We'll dive into all of the injury issues and more as the Eagles get ready to take on the Cowboys. The other thing that Sirianni was asked, he asked about, you got to leave it up to you to announce the starters. He said, yeah, I'll announce it on Thursday. Vic Fangio did give us a little insight to what the starters might look like, even though he did not come out and say it. He was asked about Quinyon Mitchell. He was asked about the linebacker position, number 1. And he said last year, John McMullen asked the question. Last year you had Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean pretty much taking all the reps. Are you open to more of a rotation at that position opposite of Zach? Here's what Vic Fangio said.
At linebacker, sort of the same question. Last year you had Zach and Nakobe pretty much taking all the reps. Are you open to more of a rotation at that position opposite Zach?
Not really. I mean, open, yes. Do I see it happening immediately? No.
So he shot that down pretty quickly. The starter will be Campbell, and that's who's going to play. Jahad Campbell's the starter next to Zach Bond. He asked, is there going to be a rotation? Not really. Do I see it happening immediately? No. Jahad Campbell is your starter there. The other thing he was asked about was Quinyon Mitchell. The idea of him starting to travel. Where are you in that process? Here's Vic Fangio.
talked earlier in training camp about Quignon and the idea of him starting to travel. Where are you in that process? I think CD would be probably a good player that he's going to.
Yeah, it's something that we'll look at each and every week, depending upon the matchups. With this team that we're playing this week, they got two great receivers. So, but it is something that's viable for us.
So he talked about Quignon Mitchell traveling, and he said this week they have two great receivers. And that's kind of where we start today with Adam Caplan for Football at 4 here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. That's what Vic Fangio said. It's something that we'll look at each and every week. He said, but this week we're playing against a team that has two great receivers. So don't expect to see the traveling there with Quignon Mitchell. But is that something that we will see throughout the season? That is something we'll discuss throughout the show, throughout the week, and, of course, the season here. But the season is here. And Adam Caplan and the Football at 4 guys are back for another season of Eagles football here on the Sports Bash Live. We're going to dive into some injuries and some key matchups in this game. But first, let's take a look at the injuries. And as we talked about, Adam, right before you jumped on, the injury report just popped out. Landon Dickerson, a full participant today. Only Tanner McKee, a DNP. Looks like a healthy Eagles team pretty much going into Thursday night.
Yeah, Mike, and continuing our tradition, Mike, as we've done, 4 or 5 years. Like we would get the Friday injury report literally right when we would start the segment. Well, we'll do that here Tuesday because, Mike, today's like a Friday practice in Eagleville. So because they play 2 nights from now, and obviously for a Friday game and for Sunday, the injury report, the last one comes out on Friday. But what they're doing here, Mike, is just to explain how this works. Both teams practice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then have the walkthrough Wednesday. But the league, and I don't know why they do this, they only require them to turn it in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we don't know what they did on Sunday. But the bottom line is McKee's got a broken right thumb. Doesn't look like he'll be available to even back up. So they've got Sam Howell. This is big, though, Mike. Let me explain the Landon Dickerson. Some people were confused. So basically, it doesn't mean that the knee issue went away. Remember, he had the meniscus trim. It just means that he's not missing any practice time because of it. He did, and this was added yesterday, he had a back issue come up, and he didn't work yesterday. He took all of his normal reps, Mike, today. What this means is, barring something unforeseen, the dreaded unforeseen setback, Mike, he'll be in the lineup Thursday night. Now, if tomorrow's walkthrough, if he's not doing anything, that would concern me, Mike. Cover this business 25, 26 years. When guys don't participate in the walkthrough, that concerns me. But right now, Dickerson should be in the lineup.
Right. So McKee, a DNP, and it looks like Sam Howell would be the backup there, obviously. Yep. Jalen Carter, full participant. Landon Dickerson, full participant. Andrew Makuba, he would be the other guy that, I guess there was some questions on whether he goes Thursday night. Hamstring issue, but a full participant today.
Yeah, that's a good sign that he'll be available, Mike. Now, the question would be if he's available, and right now it looks like he will be. What's the role look like? Sidney Brown, because Makuba suffered 2 injuries, looks like he should be starting. But Makuba is just a better football player. He's a much better fit for the scheme. To me, Sidney Brown will be in borrowed time if Makuba could just not get hurt again. And that's been the problem with him. He's had 2 different injuries. Now, Josh Uche will be available. He's got the groin injury, Mike. He right now probably would be their third edge. We'll see what Vic Fangio winds up doing, but that's the way they ended camp. We know sometimes what you see is not always what you get. But Josh Uche, who's trying to rebuild his career, did a nice job, Mike. We didn't talk about him a lot. Is the only issue there is because he doesn't have the length that Azeez Ojulari has. Can he regain? Uche has not been a factor since 22, Mike. That's how long it's been since he's really done anything of note.
All right, Adam Caplan's with us here. That's the Eagles side of things. Pretty healthy, it looks like here. We'll get into some of the things that Vic Fangio said and Nick Sirianni today in a minute and some of the matchups in here. But on the Cowboys side of thing, Trevon Diggs, Tyler Guyton, of course, 2 starters for them. But they are pretty healthy as well. You look like 2 teams healthy enough, ready to play Thursday night.
Yeah, and Miles Sanders, yes. Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders had an injury he was nursing. He's not on the injury report. He'll be available. He'll play. What we expect to be a running back by committee, the dreaded RBBC. Trayvon, this is interesting with Trayvon Diggs. They did not think to start training camp he would be available until weeks 4 or 5. Well, guess what? They may have to hold him back if he's not in the lineup. So right now, when you're taking – he's a starter. When you're taking majority of the first-team reps, you're almost certain to play. So right now, and Diggs said – Diggs didn't put up the total thumbs up. He didn't say 100% that he'd play, but he felt confident he'd be able to contribute. So now this is another one. Tyler Guyton, if you remember – Mike, they thought he tore his ACL. The testing showed that he actually had a fracture, a sort of an odd injury in his knee, but it healed. And Mike, he's going to be starting now. When you look at Tyler Guyton, there's a question whether he should really be a left tackle. To me, he did not have a good rookie season. That's what we were told. If something were to happen. Let's say something happened in pregame warm-ups where they thought he didn't practice well this week and decided not to start him. It would be Nate Thomas, who was a 7th-round pick last year, Mike. They don't have very good depth. The Cowboys do not on their offensive line. He, by the way, out of Louisiana Lafayette, he's a left tackle, Nate Thomas. He's number 71. So, folks, if they wind up starting 71 Nate Thomas, advantage Eagles.
Big time there. So there's a lot of advantage Eagles along this. Let's look at some of those areas and those matchups, Adam. Obviously, I want to start with areas, though, where Dallas might have some spots and get your take on it. Vic Fangio said today, look, Quinyon Mitchell might move around, but this team has 2 good wide receivers. So how do we feel about the wide receivers, Pickens, if he's matched up with, say, Adoree Jackson?
Yeah, so Pickens is incredible tracking the football. He's really good at it. Good football player. He's on a contract year. Dallas probably will not address it until after the season. At least that's their plan. You mentioned CeeDee Lamb, who is incredible in the slot. He does play outside and inside. Jalen Tolbert and Kevontae Turpin. The Eagles know he's had some good moments against the Eagles. So they've got good enough depth. They could go 4 deep. And that's now we're going to assume that you can't really go into a game with just 5 receivers. They've got 4 receivers on their roster, on their practice squad, so they're almost certain to add a 5th for the game. But Pickens having Quinyon Mitchell travel with them, that would make sense because CeeDee Lamb, no offense to him, Pickens just is more explosive. CeeDee Lamb's phenomenal running after the catch. And, boy, does he beat zone defenses, man. He sits on zones. Eagles are a zone team. They're a bottom 5 man coverage team, Mike. You should know that. So, I mean, could Quinyon travel a little bit? Sure. But to me, it would be Pickens. I don't know why he would have to. I would not want Adoree Jackson on George Pickens at all, not even a snap if I could help it.
Yeah, and these are areas where, if Dallas is going to hang in this, it probably feels like a shootout style where they target Adoree Jackson. And then I would imagine whoever's playing safety, Jake Ferguson's a weapon. You can hit that seam maybe and try to take some shots, especially, Adam, if Sidney Brown's out there. He's been known to give up some big plays.
Yep. So the way they're going to do it, they'll play plenty of 12 personnel, which is 2 receivers and 2 tight ends, and then they'll also have their 3 receiver, their 11 personnel package, which is Jalen Tolbert or Turpin with Pickens and Lamb. Now, Luke Schoonmaker, when they go 12 personnel, will be their wide tight end. He's their inline tight end, who was severely overdrafted to come out of Michigan. He should have gone like a 4th-round pick. As you mentioned, Ferguson is their playmaker at tight end. Now, running back, Mike, it's going to be Javonte Williams as their starter. But remember, starter only means who's out there for the first play. They love Jadon Blue, who's a rookie, 5th round of Texas, who's super explosive, and, of course, Miles Sanders. So it'll be a committee. Mike, they were a terrible running team last season. I see a shootout. You got to be careful. It's week 1. Odd things happen. But the only way Dallas stays in it is if they throw the football. And with Sidney Brown, who's just doesn't have the versatility of Drew Makuba, and with the problem the Eagles have at left corner, I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, by the way, I'll give you a nugget here. He is super analytical. He came up with let Russ cook in 2020. That season, Russell Wilson had 28 passing touchdowns in just 8 games. He was headed for an NFL record, Mike. But until Pete Carroll stepped in, we'll talk about that another time. But Schotty comes out throwing the football early, and he runs late. That's what he wants to do. That's what he did in 2020. So, Mike, on your point, I didn't know you were going to go there, but I'm going to just tell you right now, they're going to attack the Eagles secondary. That's going to happen very early.
Yeah, I would imagine. Like, that's the one area where I'm saying I think Dallas might think that they have a shot, is if they can go after the safety spot and also that second corner spot. The one thing I'm also interested in to get your take, Guyton, Smith, Beebe, Booker, Steele, their offensive line, they had some issues on that offensive line. Did they do enough to kind of neutralize, the Eagles here? You got two. You got Hunt, you got Smith, two guys we're looking to see if they emerge, and then obviously the interior, there's a handful. So that Dallas offensive line should be interesting to see if they've improved enough.
Yeah, Tyler Smith is an unbelievable story at left guard. He's going to get an extension at some point relatively soon. He's next in line. As we know, it didn't happen for Micah Parsons. That's another story for another time. You and I talked about it last week, I think. So Tyler Booker will be the right guard. He's a power offensive lineman. Not every offensive line coach I talked to this year liked him for the draft, but in terms of being a first-round pick. Cooper Beebe's back his second year as a starter at center. Terrence Steele, he had an ACL injury a couple years ago. He's fine at right tackle. Guyton is not very good at left tackle. That, to me, is where I know Vic Fangio doesn't like the blitz. That's where you overload. I don't think honestly, I don't think Tyler Guyton's going to be able to handle the Eagles' pass rush. I really don't. And it should be. He should see Jalen Hunt. To be honest with you, he should see Jalen Hunt. That's the side that Jalen Hunt. I think he's the right edge rusher. If that's the case, Mike, this is a good game for Jalen Hunt to do pretty well. And also, when they rotate with Uche and Ojulari, who's got long arms, who I know you didn't have a great training camp in Obo Okonkwo. I'm interested to see what Vic does with this rotation because they have players, Mike. How good they are remains to be seen. And, of course, Nolan Smith, who really good three-quarters of the season, but is coming off a pretty big injury.
All right, there are some key matchups for the Eagles defense. What about the Dallas defense, who lost Micah Parsons? Yep. What's left over, and where can the Eagles attack?
Yeah, this is where the Eagles, and I know offenses historically have done way worse than defenses early on. Now, although tackling is Bill Polian, the Hall of Fame general manager, would tell me tackling is usually generally poor now. But offenses sometimes just get off to a bad start. It's all situational. It depends on the team and how many player changes they've had. So Eagles offense versus the Dallas defense. So what are you going to get? Kenny Clark and Osa Digizua, the D tackles. Okay, so Digizua is a really good. He reminds me of Moro Ojomo, really explosive upfield. He's not known for his pass rush. His run stopping. Why do they make this trade for Kenny Clark? Mozzie Smith, the first-round pick 2 years ago, has been. Struggled. I'm going to be nice about it. Out of Michigan, 2023 first-round pick. I know a lot of people in scouting loved him. He hadn't done anything. So how are they going to get to Hurts with that offensive line? When you look at Matt Eberflus, he's a big-time zone guy. Picks and chooses his spots to blitz. You're going to see Marshawn Nealon, who was a second-rounder last year, who they like, who had a knee injury, but he's fine. Dante Fowler is a veteran edge rusher, good football player. Sam Williams, who's been somewhat of a disappointment, and Donovan Ezeraku, who we absolutely loved at Inside the Birds. So they've got guys, but here's the thing, Mike. There's no one you're worried about. That's not that the Eagles would ever double-team anybody, but you're not worried about it if you're Jeff Stoutland. You're aware of the four. That's it. You know who's out there, but you don't worry about it. I see the Eagles being very successful. We talked about Trayvon Diggs, thinks he's going to play. Kyer Elam, who was acquired in a trade, who's really a man-cover corner. I don't know how this is going to work for him. Greg Cosell told me that he didn't see the fit because he was not a fit for Sean McDermott's zone scheme. They play a lot of zone here. It may not even work. They just don't have the depth of corner at all, Mike, right now. In fact, I know Bland's a terrific nickel, but I know the Eagles are most likely to be heavy 12 personnel this season. I'm changing it up with Kevin Patullo. You got to come out and throw against the secondary. I know. When you decide you want to throw, you got to go have 11 personnel because they can't handle it. There's Mike. Not that I think this will be a pass fest. The way Dallas is going to win or stay in it, they got to throw. We know Barkley they're going to run plenty and they should have success. I know Kenny Clark's there, a good player, an aging player, but a good player. They're not very good at linebacker, Mike. This is where the Eagles' money is going to be made. If Hurts is on and Barkley's normal, they're going to score 30 points or more in this game. If the passing game's off and somehow, and I don't know how this could happen, but if somehow they slow down Barkley, and Hurts is off in this game. I don't see it happening. But if it is, then this game's going to be close.
Well, they brought Kenny Clark in. There's a lot of debate whether he's still the same player. As he dropped off a little bit, from where he was in Green Bay. But they're okay at tackle if he can play. I mean, if he can play still, their tackles are decent. But man, you're right. They're linebackers. You got Jack Sanborn in there, Kenneth Murray, Clark. The safety spot is kind of okay, nothing special. I think you're right about where there's a lot of holes in that Dallas. And Parsons, you lost a lot of pass rush without him now as well. So we'll see. Well, we just talked football. We talked about a game. We're ready to go.
Man. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes, it is cool. And when Adam's back on Friday, we'll be looking back at a football game from Thursday night. You can listen to the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. And, of course, Inside the Birds has all of your Eagles-Cowboys coverage. Check out the Inside the Birds podcast and all of their content over at InsideTheBirds.com. All right, Adam, Friday, me and you recapping Eagles-Cowboys.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, buddy. All right, there is Adam Caplan from the Inside the Birds podcast at InsideTheBirds.com here on the Sports Bash Live. There you go. Oh, man, it felt good. Felt like riding a bike, baby. Little Eagles, little Cowboys preview. Felt like riding a bike. I got up there and was like, yo, let's break down the matchups. You know who's going to break down the matchups with me on Thursday? Casey Joyner, right here. One thought, every game. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. You know who else? Sal Paolantonio. Thursday previews the game. Sal Paolantonio, Friday, recaps the game. 5 o'clock, right here. Sports Bash. You only get Sal Pal on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Friday at 5, Thursday at 5, Sal Paolantonio right here on the Sports Bash. Tomorrow, Johnny Mack, John McMullen, right here on the Sports Bash. Previews the game, inside and out. Outside View Thursday, Jesse Holley, former Cowboy wide receiver. Sports Bash right here. Tonight, 5 o'clock, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. Football's back. Eagles, Cowboys, we're back. We were off yesterday. We missed you. Josh, I missed you. I missed you yesterday. I wanted to be here to talk about that Phillies game as it was happening in real time, but I got it today. Guess what? Coming up, I know who wants to talk about that Phillies game because he was at my house yesterday watching that Phillies game. Earnshaw, Nuggets, next, right here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. But we're talking about Eagles-Cowboys. It's game time. Jersey, the playbook for this season's action is on DraftKings Casino. Play thousands of popular slots for a shot at jackpots. Over $400 million has already been awarded. New players get 500 spins on Huff and More Puff over 10 days. Download the app, use code DK973, and claim your spins after your first $5 wager. Get in the game with DraftKings Casino, home of the largest jackpot win in online casino history. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. You must be 21 or older, physically present in New Jersey. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for featured game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. This offer ends October 25th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm out of breath. More Sports Bash coming up. Knicks Nuggets are on the way.
This is the home of the Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22.
97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
This October, Scream returns. Join actor David Arquette for Behind the Scream, a live conversation at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City on Friday, October 10th. Hear behind-the-scenes stories from the legendary Scream franchise. Ask your burning questions and get up close with the man behind the mask. Tickets are on sale now at theoceanac.com. Don't miss your chance to go behind the Scream.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This Labor Day, the Home Depot is here to help you prep for the season. So no matter what you're working on, you can get your backyard ready for all the fall festivities. Refresh your garden with savings on a wide selection of colorful mums. Liven up your outdoor space with vibrant string lights. And find the perfect grill for your backyard barbecues this season from our wide selection of grills under $300. Get your fall project started this Labor Day at the Home Depot.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year at Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Phillies, Eagles, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football, college football, and the NFL ticket. Watch the games at Yuri's and enjoy 50-cent wings, half-price pizzas, dollar dogs, and $5 draft and can specials, plus other happy hour specials. If you love seafood, Yuri's has it, including all-you-can-eat crab. And of course, the beautiful sunsets are still free. Watch the game at Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant, next to the boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
Little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. The Eagles and the Cowboys Thursday night to open up the season. This is the 133rd meeting between the two teams, and the Eagles have won 4 of their last 6 after sweeping Dallas in 2 games last season. Cowboys defense will be without pass rusher Micah Parsons, who they traded away last week to Green Bay, up against Saquon Barkley, coming off a 2,000-yard season last year. The Phillies will continue their series with the Milwaukee Brewers tonight, coming off an 8-10 victory on Monday to start the series. Brandon Marsh had 4 hits, drove in the go-ahead run in the 9th inning. Harrison Bader drove in 3. Bryce Harper added a solo home run. Tonight, the Phillies will start Aaron Nola, 3-7 on the year, an ERA of 6.47. Jose Quintana going for the Brewers. He is 10-5. Progressive Insurance, bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
This October, Scream returns. Join actor David Arquette for Behind the Scream, a live conversation at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City on Friday, October 10th. Hear behind-the-scenes stories from the legendary Scream franchise. Tickets are on sale now at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The beautiful weather continues. We are tracking 2 chances of spotty rain coming up, one on Thursday night and another on Saturday. Mainly clear and cool tonight. Low temperature dips to 59 degrees. Partly sunny tomorrow, high of 78, reaching for 81 on Thursday. Sun and clouds and breezy during the day. Could be a spot shower Thursday night. Mostly sunny, breezy, and 85 on Friday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today. A message from New Jersey Human Services.
All right, 429 Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. I'm Mike Gill. Good stuff from Adam Caplan for today's football at 4. Don't forget, we'll be at the Fanatics Sportsbook on Friday and Monday. Next week, Monday. This week, Friday. Back-to-back shows. And then Thursday, we're over at Chickies and Pete's to kick off the season. That's a busy day. You got Phillies afternoon baseball, 4 o'clock against the Brewers, followed by Eagles-Cowboys. And you can listen to the Eagles and Cowboys right here on 97.3 ESPN, hooking you up with that game. It's free of charge. No charge for that. All right, let's get into today's Nuggets. They're brought to you by The Hub, gear that works as hard as you do. We got a whole bunch going on today. Also got a new segment we're going to be doing each day called the Quad Box, because I had the Quad Box going all weekend. So tonight there's no Phil's game. So what we need the people to do out there listening to the segment, all right? Nuggets will give us his Quad Box. We'll give all 4 of the Quad Boxes later. We need the listeners to participate here, because Josh will give a box, I'll give a box, Earnshaw will give a box, and then the listeners will give a box. You go on multi-screen, 4 box. What's in the boxes? All right? 609-403-0973. No Phillies tonight. Tell us what's on the tube for you. I got my game. We'll see what you guys got. 609-403-0973. We got to get into the Nuggets, though.
Absolutely. Mike, great to be with you on a Tuesday. And, the Quad Box, I'm very, very excited about this. This is awesome. This is right up my alley. When the Phillies aren't on, it's so tough when the Phillies aren't on to pick something to watch. You can tune into another ball game, but it's just not the same when the Phils aren't playing, right? Like it gets you through the summer, it gets you through the spring, but at least we have football back this week, right? At least we have football back.
Yeah, I was hoping there was a little college football game on tonight or something.
I know. I wish there were some college football games on tonight. Do you want my Quad Box pick now? I can give it to you right now off the rip.
Yeah. All right, give me the Quad Box. All right, what's in the Quad Box for you?
All right, so for me tonight, I think overall, I got to check this game out. Mets and Tigers, I got to tune into tonight. I mean, that's a big matchup. You got to pay attention to the Mets, right, what they're doing. Tigers have been really good, playing really good baseball as well. They're the number 1 seed in the major leagues, in the American League. They're the number 1 spot. I got to go with that.
Yeah, Mets-Tigers, very good one. In fact, you got Nolan McLean throwing again today for the Mets. That should be a good game. You're right. You got to keep an eye on that. All right, we'll throw that onto the Quad Box. We'll see what else is in that box. 609-403-0973. Now, do you go Quad Box? Because I got YouTube TV, so I can do the Quad Box. They let you pick 4 different screens that you want to watch. You can pick them yourself.
That is really awesome. No, I actually have Hulu. I have the rival of your YouTube TV over there. I don't think I could do the Quad Box. I've never tried it. Maybe there's an option. I don't think there is, but usually I'll go laptop and then TV. So I usually can go 2 at once. If I do that. Okay,
well, YouTube TVers, you know what the Quad Box is then, because we can pick what we want in our multi-view, 4 screens. Bang, 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 bang.
You love a Quad Box. I'm shocked you don't love Red Zone. They do the Quad Box every week. Scott does the Quad Box every single week with 4 games all at once. Mike, come on.
Yeah.
You're a quad box guy and you're not a red zone guy. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But we'll talk about those Phils that aren't going to be on tonight. So you're going to have the quad box going, watching a bunch of different things all at once. And we got to talk about the Fightins because last night I was over your house with Doug and we did on the porch. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time watching that ball game. And honestly, Mike, in my estimation, it was the best win of the season. I don't think there's been a better win than yesterday. Brandon Marsh singled the go-ahead run in the 9th inning. Did you know, little nugget, that was the only inning the Phillies led for a full inning because the Brewers just kept coming back, tying it, taking the lead, tying it, whatever it may be. The 9th inning was the only time the Phillies had the lead for a full entire inning, and that was the most important inning that it had to happen. Harrison Bader had another big game. He had some insurance late in that ball game as well. It was an impressive victory. Taijuan Walker, not great, not my guy, not great, not doing himself any favors to get on that playoff roster, not doing a ton yesterday, but the Phillies found a way to win. They were down in that game, down. And the fact that they fought back the way they did, that gives you a lot of hope heading into the postseason that this team's not going to quit. That was a difference-making win against the best team in the National League with the best record in the National League. So that was, to me, the best win of the season yesterday. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
Well, I'll put it in the category of maybe most entertaining, best win. Off the top of your head, it's whatever happens the most recent, and it's the most important. So, yeah, that goes into the conversation. I will say this. They did that game. They had that win yesterday, and it was a bunch of guys. Tim Meza, who just signed, he came in and pitched the 5th, kept the game at bay. Daniel Robert, who I think if you were looking at social media yesterday when they brought him in the game, you're thinking, why are they bringing Robert into the game right now? He got 2 outs, which was the most important thing. He got 2 outs. Now, he did give up a walk, and that run ended up coming around to score because, quite frankly, the error that Bryson Stott made in that inning, if he doesn't make that error, Robert and Alvarado get you out of that inning. But Robert, I thought, was in a big spot for him, probably the biggest spot he's been in since he's come to the Phillies. Then Bader and Marsh continue with some big hits late in that game. Stott had a big hit. Kepler had a sac fly. There was a bunch of names. You don't notice that I'm not saying Schwarber, not a big factor. Harper hit the home run. That got him off the, got him going, but had some big moments, opportunities later on in the game that he did not come up. Big. It was the bottom half of the order that got the job done for the Phillies. That's what was interesting about the game yesterday. And I thought the big thing was, we talked about this on the porch. We were talking about this a lot, was Phillies played Sunday night baseball, had to travel. They got into Milwaukee early in the morning. They had to play a 4 o'clock game. And then you have Taijuan Walker up against Jacob Mizorowski, who the shadows and all that stuff going against you. And then you're down 4-0 early. For them to come back, big win there. Good to see. Day off today. They got to bounce back tomorrow because they got 2 tough pitching matchups tomorrow and on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring up yesterday. It essentially would have been a scheduled loss. I mean, with the travel, they played Sunday Night Baseball. They got in late. You even had Rob Thompson after the game saying, quote, "I'm going to bed." that was his quote after the game. I said it to you afterwards as well. Like, that was hilarious, the fact that he said that. And that was a long game, by the way, too. So you're dealing with all that. You're dealing with the jet lag, everything. Everything's going against you. Usually that's a scheduled loss. The fact they bounced back, they battled back throughout that game, that's why it was so impressive and why it was the best win of the season, because you have all those unmitigating factors, as well as going up against the Brewers, as well as being on the road, everything against you, and they found a way to win. And I'm glad you bring up Bryson Stott, because Bryson Stott had an uncharacteristic error when Robert was in the ball game, right? Cost them, tie game. It led to a bad inning, right? But he comes back and gets a big base hit late in the ball game to help this team get over the top and win the ball game. The fact that he bounced back at the dish after an uncharacteristic error, that was a microcosm of that win yesterday for the Phillies. Overall, Stott makes a bad play, comes back, gets a big hit later on in the ball game, and bounces right back. That was the Phillies yesterday. Bad start, but then bounce back later in the ball game. Those 4th, 5th, and 6th innings were huge, and then they come back in the 8th and 9th and really put it away. And, they lead in the 9th for the only inning of the game. So Bryson Stott was the symbol of that win yesterday because it kind of showed the entire team, hey, they started off bad, but they battled back and bounced back for an impressive win against an 85-win Milwaukee team.
Look, the fact of the matter is this. You've got to find ways to win the games, and you need everybody. And you need to have it on nights where, like last night, on Thursday night, I guess it was, Kyle Schwarber hits 4 home runs. He carries the team. He didn't do anything the rest of the series. Nothing. And he did nothing yesterday. Nothing.
No.
So if that happens, these are the things that worry me, is when one night, this is the exact counter argument to when someone says, hey, he had 4 hits today. Why isn't he in the lineup the next day? Well, because he struck out all 4 times the next day. Sometimes you hit 4 home runs in one game. You don't come out and get 4 more hits. Like I said to you the other day, Harrison Bader had 4 hits one day, had 3 again. At some point, he's going to go for the Ofer slump where he just can't, hit the broadside of a boat here. I mean, it just happens. So,
it's baseball.
Without
and look, Mike, I'll add this. Kyle Schwarber's 8 strikeouts in the last 3 games. In the last 3 games, he has 8 total strikeouts since that 4 home run game. 8 strikeouts in the 3 straight. I mean, that's just baseball for you.
Right, and again, it's like just because you had 4 home runs in a game, of course, you don't automatically bench that guy. But it's also the argument against when they keep doing this. When you're like, hey, Bader had 4 hits yesterday. Why is he not playing the next day? Because there's no guarantee you're getting 4 hits. Now, Bader is at the point now where I think you should probably just kind of ride the hot hand and let him kind of get going. He's come up with clutch hits, big hits. He's obviously become a spark plug for this offense. I'll tell you what, Brandon Marsh has really turned his season around. I was really out on Marsh in that month of April. He didn't get a hit, but he has come so far along that I'm actually at the point where I wonder if you do give him a shot against some lefties, although he has just proven time and time again that he cannot hit lefties. But the point is, he has been such a spark plug and so many big hits for this team in recent weeks that, it's tough to go to Weston Wilson as the other guy. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Marsh, I mean, since coming back from injury, he's been a totally different player. Just been great against right-handed pitching. It's been great. He's been awesome. And, we were very frustrated with him early on in the season, and he has really turned it around. So you got to give him credit. He did a great game yesterday. I think yesterday, best win of the year, just because of all the unmitigating factors heading into it against a really good Milwaukee team. It's not like they were playing a scrub team like the Nationals or something like that, right? They were playing the best team in the National League with the best record. So big win, best win of the year in my estimation by the Phillies yesterday. All right, let's move along. Nugget number 2.
Real quick on that, what I will add is, keep in mind, Milwaukee did have some injuries in their bullpen, and, that's something like they weren't at full strength in their bullpen.
No, I understand.
Miller got hurt in the middle of the game yesterday. Their closer is also out, and the Phillies took advantage of it, which they needed to do.
Yeah, they did. And listen, the Phillies had Taijuan Walker on the mound. Not great. Late night, whole thing. Madrid said he's going to bed afterwards. So, I mean, there it is. It was a great win. All right, nugget number 2. The Eagles, Nick Sirianni said in his press conference today, we know Thursday that the banner is going to go up, the second one in Eagles history for the Super Bowl. Okay. The Philadelphia Eagles will not be out on the sideline for the championship banner to be raised up into the rafters. Mike, do we like this approach from the Eagles, from Nick Sirianni saying, nope, that's last year. We're done. It's over with. We're going to put it away, put it aside. Are they going too far with this? Or is this the messaging you want out of your head coach heading into a new season, a new year? I got to be honest. I like it. I actually kind of like it. I'm not going to hate on it. I like it.
This is fun. This is fun. The fact that he's like, I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out there. So it's going to be kind of interesting when that banner gets unveiled and all the fans are going crazy and the team's not out there. They're not out there participating in this thing. Are they going a little bit too far? You know what? I said this the other day. My remembrance of all of the games that have had like banner nights, Hall of Fame nights, Wall of Fame nights, who's ringing the bell, like, it's Dr. J or it's Allen Iverson. Those nights always go poorly.
Yes.
They always seem to fall flat. Any Philadelphia team that has one of those nights where the energy in the building is just so intense. The team can't reach that level. They just can't do it. So I'm okay with the team not participating in banner night.
I don't mind it either. And I think you bring up a great point on when those crazy nights happen. I was there for the Joel Embiid game when he got the MVP. They lost that game. I was there for a Sixers game. And I have a lot of Sixers examples here because usually they have to do a big thing pregame and they fall apart. It always happens.
All Sixer games when they wait for the who's ringing the bell, and they bring out like the most like high profile bell ringer, and the place is going crazy, and the team can never match the energy.
Yeah, I was there when they brought out Triple H and Embiid. They're doing the DX thing, the celebration. Lost that game too, by the way.
I was at that one.
Yeah. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Celtics and the Sixers, May 2nd, 23, when Embiid got his MVP. Lost that game too.
I always remember this conversation always takes me back to the night Reggie White got his jersey retired. They lost 42-0 that night against the Seattle Seahawks. It was either a Sunday night game. I think it was a Monday night game. It was either a Sunday night or a Monday night game. It was snowing. Vince Young was the quarterback. They lost 42-0 when they put Reggie White's jersey when they retired that. So anytime these nights seem to happen, I always remember bad stuff happening.
Yeah, like I think the Phillies during their playoff run over the past couple of years, have brought out Utley, Howard. It feels like when they bring out the big guns, right? The guys from the past who were part of those big teams to throw out the first pitch, they lose that game too. Like the Phillies lose the game when like the Utleys, the Howards, the Rollins of the world, when they throw out the first pitch during a playoff game, things don't seem to go well for the Phillies in that point. I mean, just like all the teams, except for the Eagles, when they raised the banner in 2018 against the Atlanta Falcons, it was a close game. They almost lost it, but they did win that ball game. So, I mean, there's a good omen there with the Birds, but the other teams in the city, I feel like they flounder every time something big like that happens. But I actually don't hate this. This is a winning mentality. This is a turn-the-page mentality for this organization saying, yeah, one's not good enough. Let's go win another one, right? Well, we're turning the page. It was great. Last year had some fun. I love the mentality. It's a winner's mentality, Mike. So I'm not against it. It's going to look a little goofy, but I'm not against it. I like it from Sirianni. I'm sure Jalen Hurts had something to do with this as well, too. Like, let's move the page. Let's move on. I'm cool with it. I'm all good with it.
Yeah, now I will say the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, obviously, right? In 2018, they opened up the season. It was against the Falcons.
Yep.
And they did win the game, but it was an ugly game. It was an ugly, ugly game. 18-12, they beat the Falcons that night. Nick Foles threw for 117 yards. They were losing. Remember, they got booed off the field. In fact, Nick Sirianni got asked about that today. They got booed off the field at halftime. They were down 6-3.
Yeah, I do remember that game. Didn't they run the Philly special as well? Like they did it again, and Foles caught it, if I remember correctly, in that game. I think they ran it again or some semblance of it. Foles caught it. And, yeah, I mean, listen, it's week 1. There's going to be some things to work out in your offense and your defense, right? Shake the rust off. It's week 1. We know we've seen some bad football early on in the season from a lot of NFL teams. I think that's one for sure. I'm cool with them staying in the locker room. I don't need them to be out there. I like the mentality. They want to go win another one. They want to set a new standard, right?
Seemingly, yes. I mean, I think they're trying to distance themselves as much as possible. Sirianni said, were you a big part of why we won the Super Bowl last year? You were. But were you the only part of why we won the Super Bowl? You were not. So he's really starting to, he said, you can't be great without the greatness of others. If I keep saying that, then that no longer resonates. You got to keep changing. So the messaging keeps changing.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So you won't see them out there on the field. It'll be an empty sideline. Maybe the Cowboys will get to watch. Maybe Jerry can watch it too. So that'll be fascinating to watch. All right, final nugget before I get out of here. Mike, I don't know if you've been keeping up with social media today and following along with the streamer iShowSpeed. But he made a pit stop in Philadelphia. Exactly. I mean, let me get to it. I'm getting to it. So there is a streamer, right? A YouTube streamer, Twitch streamer named iShowSpeed, has over 40 million followers, one of the biggest in the world. He's done stuff with Cristiano Ronaldo, etc. One of the big YouTubers in the world. He's in Philadelphia today. It's part of his, he's visiting 25 states in the country, going to different places in that state. He's visiting Pennsylvania today. He has made stops at Pat's Cheesesteaks. He has made stops at the Eagles NovaCare complex, as well as in Philadelphia, and got in a car ride with a Philadelphia 76er, Mr. Paul George. You know, Paul George is in that space, Podcast P. Take a listen to when iShowSpeed, that is his name, iShowSpeed, asked Paul George if he was from Philadelphia. Take a listen to this clip.
So you from Philly?
Hell no.
What?
I'm from Cali.
You from Cali?
I'm from Cali.
What you in Philly for?
Play here.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. I thought you was from Philly.
Nah.
I thought you had history in Philly.
Nah.
I don't know if you caught it.
I heard
Paul
him.
George said, hell nah, in the beginning. Hell to the no. That's what he said in the beginning of that. I didn't like the tone from Paul George on that. I didn't like it at all. What is it, a bad thing to be from Philadelphia? Come on, PG. Got a better optics here, Podcast P. Come on, man.
Yeah, not the greatest look for Paul George, making it like, yo, I don't want to be associated with this place. But I did see the rest of. When you said the guy's name earlier, I didn't hear that you said what you said, really. But iShowSpeed, I'm not really familiar with his work. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't expect you to be.
That being said, I heard the conversation back, and the guy said to him, "What are you doing in Philly?" And Paul George is like, "I play here." Like the guy did he not know who he was, or the
No.
point of it, like, I know who you are, but you played so little last year that I forgot you were here.
Probably that. I think it was probably the latter. And it's a little bit of a bit too, but the fact he asked if he was from Philly and Paul George came out with that expression and that type of answer and that tone, come on, man. Like, what? You don't want to be associated with Philly? You could have said, nah, I'm actually from California, but I'm balling here on occasion. I do my podcast.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't answer. Certainly didn't answer that the way that you would have hoped.
No, don't love that. Don't love the tone of that from Paul George. But those are the Nuggets today. I'll be watching Mets Tigers tonight.
Real quick, we got a couple quick seconds here. We got about a minute here, right? Number one, did you see the Tush Push has a sponsor now?
Yes, I see the Dude Wipes are the
Dude
sponsor.
Wipes are the new sponsor. Two, did you see that the Eagles are asking fans, don't tailgate during the game. Go out and watch it someplace else, but don't come down here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, essentially.
Gonna be a madhouse on Thursday.
I know that your
Madhouse.
Nicky Nuggets goes down to tailgate, and then you go out and watch games. Are you going to go tailgate down there or what? You're going.
I
to
don't
the
know
game.
what I'm doing. I'll be at the game. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I have no idea. No clue.
Jeez.
It's
All
gonna
right,
be
they're the
nuts.
Nuggets today. They're brought to you by the Hub, gear that works as hard as you do. Thanks, Nick.
Peace.
All right, Nick's Nuggets are back again tomorrow here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. The Nuggets every day, 4:30, right here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, and live video streaming on the X platform and on YouTube at Mike Gill Show. If you're watching, scan the QR code. If you're listening, back with more Sports Bash. Jeff Kerr coming up.
Philadelphia Eagles football is back. Listen as the Super Bowl champions open the 2025 season, hosting their NFC East rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, on Thursday Night Football.
You don't do that. You don't help Cowboys to their feet.
Pre-game coverage begins at 7. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 8:20.
Back goes Prescott. He's looking. He steps up. He's hit, and he's dropped.
This is where the Super Bowl champs play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Make sure your home comfort is ready this season with Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. From fast service and reliable repairs to quality installs, Broadlee's has you covered all season so you can focus on the game. Upgrade to a Bryant high-efficiency coastal system built for South Jersey summers and salty air with 0% financing and no money down. Trust the team serving South Jersey for over 100 years. Call 609-390-3907 or visit broadlees.net. Bryant, whatever it takes. Go Birds!
Labor Day savings are happening right now at the Home Depot. So what are you working on? Prep for fall with our wide selection of cordless power tools that make it easy to clear your lawn starting at $79. And once the leaves are clear, keep your yard looking fresh with colorful mums that bloom all season long. Shop Labor Day savings now through September 3rd only at the Home Depot. See select stores for details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
5 o'clock hour, driving you home on a Sports Bash Tuesday. It's Dallas week, Eagles-Cowboys. We'll take a look at the matchup, some of the things we're looking at here. Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. CBS 3 covers the Eagles and the Phillies. We'll talk a little bit of both about them right now on a Sports Bash Tuesday. Dallas week, Phil's win yesterday, come from behind fashion. Probably the most entertaining Phil's game in a while. I don't want to say of the season. They've had some fun games. You know, the game with 4 home runs from Schwarber the other night. I would imagine if you were at that game, that was probably very, very fun to be at. But if you were at the game in Milwaukee yesterday, you saw a little bit of everything. In fact, Phillies got helped out by the umpire, not once but twice. I contend every check swing is a swing. The umpire doesn't need to. He just, yes, you went. You went every time. And both Bryce Harper and who was the other guy on the check swing yesterday? They both went. The umpire, it's never no, he did not go. It's always, yes, you went. And you would avoid all this all the time. Pat Murphy had every right to have a blow-up yesterday. But the Phils win as we get ready for the Phils and the Brewers tomorrow, and the Eagles and the Cowboys. They both play on Thursday. We're going to talk about them all right now. Jeff Kerr's back for another football season from CBS Sports on the Sports Bash every Tuesday. We'll talk to Jeff Kerr right now. He joins us here on the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff Kerr, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Mike, I agree with you on the check swing thing, by the way. It's you're got to call one way or the other, right? If you went, you went. If you want to say, okay, if it's a check swing, and if you don't, and if they want to rule as that's you didn't go, fine. But I don't like this whole review process, or you got to go to third base up or whoever, or first base up, or whoever you got to go to. I agree with Pat Murphy. He had every right to be upset.
Well, listen, they point down to the first base guy. Half the time he's asleep. He's not even paying attention, and he says, no, he did not. If you didn't pay attention, the answer is always you went. They go 95% of the time. When you start your swing and you're that level of player, your momentum is so much that you swing almost 95% of the time. So just say they swung every time, and you're safe.
I agree with you, right? And again, then you're not blaming the umpire for a game, and you're not – like, look, the Brewers gave up 10 runs. That's why they lost the game, but they certainly have a gripe.
I would agree with that. All right, Sports Bash, Jeff Kerr. Let's start with the Eagles. All right, we're in the Eagles season. We're going to get into the Phillies. Jeff covers the Phillies for CBS 3 Philadelphia locally. He also covers the NFL nationally for CBS Sports. Let's look at the Eagles here in this Cowboys game because Micah Parsons traded the other day. In your mind, has that changed the complexity of this game one iota for you?
Yes, just because I thought Micah Parsons was the one guy that could beat this football team. And what I mean by that is he's the guy who could change the game in the defense's favor. Their defense, Mike, this is crazy. They were first in EPA per play from 2021 to 2024 when Micah Parsons was on the field. They are dead last when he's not on the field. But Dan Quinn basically got a second head coaching job because of Micah Parsons and how good he was and how good that defense was with Micah Parsons on the field. They are beyond atrocious when Micah Parsons is not on that team. And I just don't understand Dallas's logic for trading such a game-changing player if you want to win a Super Bowl.
Well, obviously, with Parsons out, you look at the Dallas defense and you think about Philadelphia. They won the 2 games last year. I think the combined score was like 74-13. That should say they shouldn't have a lot of problems against this defense on Thursday night. Is it a Barkley game? Is it a Brown game? Or is it a little bit of everything?
I think they're going to test both, honestly. I think the Eagles are going to try to get the run game early with Saquon Barkley because I think they want to see if Jerry Jones can live up to his little post-Micah Parsons trade press conference that, oh, we wanted to get better at stopping the run. Well, yeah, you did kind of do that with Kenny Clark, but how much significantly better are you at stopping the run? Saquon Barkley can still break one, but I do feel like this offense is going to be more of a passing offense this year, just not because the Eagles can throw the ball or want to throw the ball. I just think teams are going to do what the Steelers and Chiefs did last year and just sell their soul to stop at Saquon Barkley that it's going to leave things open for A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jahan Dotson, and Dallas Goedert.
Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports at Eagles practice today. Let's dive into some of the storylines. One, Vic Fangio on Monday said, you got to ask Nick Sirianni. They asked Sirianni today, who's the guys? Well, I'll tell you Thursday. Do we have the answers to these questions, though, Jeff? Do we know who the corner, the safety, the linebackers, do we know who these guys are?
Well, I think corner, I'm 90% certain it's going to be Adoree Jackson. Linebacker, I'll go 95% sure it's going to be Jahad Campbell. Safety, I couldn't tell you, Mike. I mean, I guess it depends on Andrew Makuba's health. Now, he was a full participant in practice with the hamstring injury. It could lean toward Makuba. I think that's who they want it to be, but I'm pretty certain cornerback is going to be Adoree Jackson and linebacker is going to be Jahad Campbell.
So Campbell, yes, and Vic Fangio did mention, I think Don McMullen asked him the question regarding whether or not they're going to rotate guys, and he was like, no, I don't really see that happening there. So it looks like Campbell, the guy, the safety spot, you think it's going to be Makuba over Sidney Brown, and then Adoree Jackson out there. Now, he did kind of say that he liked Jacorian Bennett, and he wouldn't be surprised if we saw him. So there's an area to watch. But if you're the Eagles, how do you feel about Adoree Jackson and or Jacorian Bennett matched up with either Pickens or CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, that's the thing, Mike. And that's why if I'm Dallas, I'm testing Adoree Jackson as much as I can on Thursday night and trying to get that big play. And look, I think the Eagles want Jacorian Bennett to be the starter. I just think it's going to take him some time, right? He's only been on the team, I think, 4 weeks now, come Thursday. So I think it's just Adoree Jackson's been in the system all summer. He didn't do anything to win the job. I don't think he did anything to lose the job either. He's kind of like, okay, he's the veteran. He's good enough to get us by the first week, and then we'll reevaluate from there. And, I mean, look, I think Adoree Jackson's going to be fine, but this is the guy I definitely pick on. He's no Darius Slay back there.
Right, so it's apparent. Now, Quinyon Mitchell, the other day, Fangio did say that he could move around, but it would be a week-to-week proposition. Is this a week for that, or are these two guys too good to just say, hey, you're on CeeDee Lamb the whole game?
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, right? Because CeeDee Lamb's going to be in the slot. Well, then when you want Cooper DeJean to be on CeeDee Lamb in the slot? So I don't think we'll see Quinyon traveling as much this week. Maybe in the Chiefs game in week 2, but I think the best proposition is, I mean, I'd love to have Quinyon Mitchell on CeeDee Lamb. I think that could be the best move, but do you really want Quinyon Mitchell in the slot? I think that's where Cooper DeJean comes in, so maybe you're better off just kind of staying him on the boundary for now.
All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. Let's get your take on the offensive side of the ball. Landon Dickerson, it looked like he was back at practice today. Is the anticipation that Dickerson is ready to go?
I would agree so, Mike. Look, now, obviously, this is a back injury. This is not the knee injury. Nick Sirianni said today he was cleared from that knee injury, so he's good to go there. Could the back potentially have something to do with the knee? I don't know, but he was a full participant today. I would tend to think Landon Dickerson's going to be good to go on Thursday night, and he'll be the starting left guard. I know they had Brett Toth there yesterday, but it just feels like Landon Dickerson's going to be the guy.
All right, Jeff, are the Eagles taking this too far with the banner thing? The banner's being raised Thursday, but Nick Sirianni says, I don't even know what you're talking about. We will not be out there for banner night.
You know what, Mike? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Nick's kind of playing it too far, or do you think he actually doesn't know that there's a banner?
Well, I definitely think he knows there's a banner night. I think he's taking that too far. But I don't mind that he's sticking with the gimmick here, right? It's like a WWE storyline here. He's sticking with this gimmick even in the real life here. And I don't have a problem if he's saying, look, we're not even going to go out there for it because we're behind that. We're past that thing already. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what I did like about that answer Nick gave today. So normally you get a bunch of word salad from Nick, right? He gives you an honest answer on this. I appreciated that. Like, last year is last year. And,
what do you think? Although, Jeff, do you think there's going to be certain players coming out? Do you think there's going to be certain players coming out of the tunnel to kind of see this?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some will peak and we just won't know about it. But, A.J. Brown said best today, too. There's so many new guys on this team this year. It is like a completely different team. And it just feels a little different. Like, like, I talked to Josh Uche about it today, and he was like, I mean, he definitely thought it was cool. Yeah. Like, I think he's more excited to hear about the fans and getting to experience that than the actual banner being unveiled, because he wasn't a part of that, but he was definitely on the team that this team beat. It was like he jokes, I guess we're on the good side now.
All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, Eagles, Cowboys. It is, of course, right here on 97.3 ESPN Thursday night. And, of course, the Cowboys without Micah Parsons. He is now in Green Bay. Before we flip over to Jeff's other duties covering the Phillies for CBS 3, do you put Green Bay now as the biggest challenger in the NFC with Micah Parsons?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mike. So I did my ceiling for CBS, and I actually, as part of my season preview, I actually sent it in before the trade happened. Now, the trade happened, I had to change some things around. And I have Green Bay ceiling is win the Super Bowl, right? That's why you trade for Micah Parsons. You already had a good team in place. I mean, this is an 11-win football team last year. Did they beat anybody good to get to 11 wins? No, but they were still a good football team. They made the wild card round of the playoffs. I thought they played the Eagles pretty tough in their wild card game. Now you got the difference maker there. To me, Mike, it just feels like, and I know you're old enough to remember it just feels like when the Packers got Reggie White.
Similar, yes. There's been a lot of, in fact, it's funny you say that because we just talked about the last time. I remember Reggie White getting his number retired at an Eagles game, and they lost 42-0. I feel like every time there's a big-time ceremony, somebody who rings the bell that's like high profile, jersey retirement. I feel like the teams can never reach the level of energy after that, and they always fall flat.
Yeah, and maybe that's why Nick isn't having him out there. Like, you know what? My big thing was, Mike, I've had two of these memories now. Remember when Triple H came out before Game 1 of the Sixers-Hawks series?
Yes, I do.
They put out a dud after that. Like, the game just didn't live up to the hype. Or when the Phillies they had their flag raising after 2008. I think they got shut out by the Braves on Sunday Night Baseball. I was at both those games. So maybe that's why Nick Sirianni's doing that, to say, hey, look, we got the Dallas Cowboys Thursday night. This is a division game. We need this one.
All right, Jeff. Jeff Kerr, CBS 3, covers the Phillies locally for CBS 3 Philadelphia. That game yesterday had a little bit of everything. They took 3 out of 4 against the Braves and really should have swept them. And then the game yesterday, you're down 4-0. You're playing Sunday Night Baseball, then have to get on a flight and play an afternoon game. What kind of character win did we get from the Phillies in that game yesterday?
That was definitely a gut check win, Mike. And you know what? I agree with what you said. Was it the best win of the season? I'm not sure. I think it was definitely one of the most memorable ones. Like, we watched the 2025 Phillies video yearbook. I think there's going to be an extended segment on this game just because of all the back and forth. But it was a big gut check win for this team because they didn't get into Milwaukee till, I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning our time, 12 o'clock Central Time. And they didn't get the bed played, and you had to play that day game, just a weird schedule. But they didn't make any excuses for themselves. It's like, okay, well, let's battle back. We got to see how good we are against the best team in baseball. And keep this in mind. I know Milwaukee's like 30-some games over 500. I think it's 31. They're only 7-10 in their last 17. So maybe they peaked too early, and the Phillies just seem right now to be peaking at the right time.
That is something to keep an eye on. We had Doug Glanville on Friday's show, and he talked about the one thing that the Brewers have done so much this year that's hard to keep up is they keep coming from behind. They keep getting clutch hits. And that's not a recipe sometimes that you can always count on as a guy getting a clutch hit or coming from behind. And yet we saw the Phillies have to come from behind and then hold them off. And then I thought, the big thing about yesterday is who they got it from, Jeff. It's Marsh. It's Bader. It was Stott with a big hit in that game. Because Harper had the home run early, but he had a couple other key moments that he didn't come through in. Schwarber has struck out 8 times in the last 3 games, so they're not getting anything from their key guys there.
Yeah, outside of a 4-homer game, you really haven't gotten anything from Kyle Schwarber over the last 10 days, and they're winning in spite of that, which I like. Look, people can rip Dave Dombrowski all they want. Harrison Bader was an awesome trade deadline addition for this team and what he's able to bring. And you can bring him back next year for a $10 million club option. Fitting over 310. He's playing great defense. He's driving in runs for you. He's been great. Johan Duran, need I say more? he's the closer you need. This team got significantly better when they got Harrison Bader, Johan Duran, and Brandon Marsh. They're using him right, only playing him against right-handed pitching, and look how well Brandon Marsh is doing. That's why I tell people, this is why Justin Crawford isn't up here. It's Brandon Marsh and it's Harrison Bader. They're the ones hitting. They're the ones keeping them down there. And I know everybody will say, well, Nick Castellanos, they said they have a plan in place for that too. Max Kepler's been hitting well over the past month. He's hitting over 280. So I think Max Kepler, when he got that vote of confidence, he basically was not going to get released, because it did feel like that the entire month of June, the entire month of July. Once he survived that, it's like, all right, I'm on this team. Now let's go win a World Series.
All right, so let's get into the Castellanos thing, because you're right. I mean, Bader obviously has picked it up. Marsh has picked it up. What feel do we have about what's going on with this Castellanos? I don't know if you were there on Friday night when he had that exchange with the media. Yes, that's the West. But so do we sense that tension is starting here, or will Castellanos not be a problem?
I feel like the tension's been going on for a while now, Mike. I feel like this has been brewing for a bit. And you remember the June incident in Miami. I think it was even before that. It just feels like they got to find a way to keep Nick Castellanos engaged, and the way to keep him engaged is to play him every day. That's what he wants. But does he really deserve to be playing every day? Is this guy worth keeping in the lineup every day? No, honestly, sometimes I think you're better off not having him in the lineup right now. And I never thought I would say in May your best outfield combination is Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, and Harrison Bader. But it is, and that might be the lineup you have to roll with. And look, if Nick can get more selective at the plate, if he can work on improving instead of the whole happy people hit better routine, see ball, hit ball, then maybe he plays more. But I don't know. Like, it just feels like he will not be a Philly next year.
Oh, I think you're right about that. We're talking with Jeff Kerr, CBS 3 Philadelphia, covers the Phillies over there. So Castellanos, I think, will be in the lineup tomorrow because Quintana, a left-handed pitcher. So I still think, although he hasn't really hit lefties all that well either, has been part of the problem here. Give us your thoughts on Walker Buehler and what his role might be moving forward. We know he's going to start at least the game against the Royals on the 12th and probably the rest of the season. But is he a viable candidate in your mind to pitch in the bullpen?
You know what, Mike? I was excited when they got him. I mean, what can it hurt, right? You bring him in here. He's eligible for the postseason now. You get him that start in Lehigh. You're part of a six-man rotation. You do that to keep the arms fresh for the playoffs. But, I mean, look, he did it for the Dodgers last year. He got the final out of the World Series. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they use Walker Buehler in multiple roles, right? Maybe he'll start the one game. Maybe he'll be like a piggyback guy, a long relief guy one game. Maybe you can pitch him at the back end of the bullpen. I just think it's another arm for guys that, I don't want to say this bullpen's getting tired, because I don't think that's the case, but I think a lot of those guys that pitched a lot earlier this year, the Orion Kirkerings, the Matt Stroms, the Tanner Banks, this is a way to keep their arms fresh come October.
Well, and keep in mind, I just look back at this, Jeff, 2022 and 2023, they had 13 pitchers on their divisional series roster. Last year, they had 12 pitchers. So really, in the divisional round, you only need 3 starting pitchers generally, which means you're going with 9 arms in the bullpen, maybe even 10 arms in the bullpen. And I wonder, is Aaron Nola one of those 3 starters, and is he one of those relievers, or is he not on the roster for the divisional round?
I don't know, Mike. Right now, who do you go with? I think you go with Christopher Sanchez. I mean, Jesus Cesar is making his own case to be in this rotation. I mean, I don't think Taijuan Walker's going to be one of those guys. I think he's doing a fine job as the 5th starter right now. But Sanchez is your lock. Ranger, I think, starts. It's here between Nola or Luzardo, and I think they want to go lefty, righty, lefty. So it'll probably be Aaron Nola. I would assume Aaron Nola is going to be in that rotation for the divisional series.
So you think he'll be the second guy no matter what, just so they split the lefties up?
Well, don't you find this interesting? I got to look up the home road splits again for Christopher Sanchez. I actually think he's better on the road this year.
I was going to say, we looked him up a couple of weeks ago. His splits are nowhere near the change that they were last year. Last year they were dramatic. This year they're not nearly as – they're pretty comparable.
Yeah, I still remember last year I was asking like a couple players about Sanchez, and they gave me well, how was you doing? And I said, well, I would pitch him at home because he's that much better. Now I feel like it's even though he's going to be your game one starter, and I'm assuming they're going to be home, but I'll tell you what, that's going to be a massive advantage if they ever have to pitch a game 4 and you got Christopher Sanchez out there.
I like the fact, though, that the players want your input on that.
Yeah, I just think it's more of a thing. I don't think they want my input. I'm just like, they're like, all right, Smarty, let's figure this out.
Jeff Kerr, CBS 3, Phillies off today. They'll go tomorrow. It's Aaron Nola, big start for him. We'll see how this team continues, but big win yesterday for them. They have a 6-game lead over the Mets in the East, 4.5 behind the Brewers, and a game and a half up on the Dodgers for the number 2 seed. Final month of the season. Down the stretch they come. Eagles-Cowboys, Jeff Kerr with us from CBS Sports all season long right here on the Sports Bash. All right, Jeff, safe driving the rest of the way, man.
No problem. By the way, does this feel like Dallas week to you?
Not yet, but I'm going to make us feel that way the next half hour or so. No, you're right, though.
Like no one's going to feel like Dallas week with NBC pans the Jerry Jones watching the Eagles banner go up.
That'll be a great feeling. But I'll tell you what, and Jeff, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to him next week. Here's the big thing, everybody. Jeff brought up a good point. It's that game on Thursday night, you know how last night the whole game felt like it was about North Carolina and nothing about TCU? That's the way the Eagles game's going to be on Thursday night. It's not going to feel like it's about the Eagles at all. It's going to be all about Micah Parsons getting traded. Thursday night, NBC, Eagles-Cowboys, it will be the Micah Parsons traded show. Don't you think? Yeah, they'll probably show the banner and all that stuff, but I think the Eagles will be overshadowed by the Cowboys in that game. I think the Eagles will be overshadowed by all of the drama surrounding the Cowboys. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's exactly what the Eagles need is, again, to be overshadowed by somebody else. 609-403-0973. All right. We got the Week 0 edition of Who's In, Who's Out. This is our preseason picks. Who will make the playoffs in the AFC and the NFC? 4 division winners, 3 wild card teams, 7 in each, 14 overall. The first edition of Who's In and Who's Out is coming up next. I will tell you the 14 playoff teams. We got a busy week, by the way, right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Take us with you Thursday. We're going to be on the road at Chickies and Pete's at Tropicana, Atlantic City. Stop out and see us live on Thursday. Come watch the Phillies Brewers with us, and then stick around for the Eagles and Cowboys. On Friday, we got a big show. We're going to be over at Fanatic Sportsbook, recapping all the Eagles Cowboys action. And then on Monday, we're back there at the Fanatic Sportsbook to get you ready for Eagles Chiefs round 2. The Sports Bash is busy this week. Tomorrow, we'll talk to John McMullen. Also, Thursday on the Sports Bash, Sal Palantonio. Ross Tucker is on the show Thursday. You don't want to miss a minute. Jeff Kerr just said it. Does it feel like Eagles-Cowboys week? It's about to. It's about to. Ross Tucker, Sal Palantonio, John McMullen, right here. Football at 4, Jeff Mosher, Andrew DeCecco, Adam Caplan, the rest of the week. It's Eagles-Cowboys. It's the start of the 2025 NFL season, and it's all right here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, 5:32. You know it's football season. We're back. Sports Bash. Who's in, who's out? It's brought to you by Jenkins & Sons Plumbing and Heating for HVAC, plumbing, or drain cleaning. 609-641-6262. JenkinsandSons.com. Who's in, who's out, Josh? These are my 14 playoff teams.
Let's do this.
Who will make the playoffs this year? These are the 12 teams that I see making the playoffs before the season even starts. So we don't even have to play this season because I'm getting all 14 right on the nose. Here we go. Who wins the AFC East? I got the Bills. That one seems probably like the most automatic of all of the divisions.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good argument for any other team in the AFC East. I think the Patriots are still a year away. I think the Dolphins are in free fall. And let's be realistic, the Jets are the Jets.
Jets are the Jets. They'll be Jetson. Although I think the Jets are kind of hanging under the radar here. I think they're going to have like an 8-9 season.
Okay.
Maybe a 9-8. AFC North. Got a lot of options here.
Ton.
You think Rodgers can find the fountain of youth? Can Joe Burrow lead the Bengals back to the top? Could it be obviously Lamar Jackson? They are the Super Bowl favorites according to the betting odds. Can Joe Flacco find the fountain of youth? Got two 40-year-old quarterbacks in this division, by the way. I'm going with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson and that crew. Second year with Derrick Henry. I think that offense will be even better this year. I like Baltimore to win the North.
I think Baltimore is the most complete team in the AFC North, so I agree on that.
AFC South, kind of wide open with mediocrity. I think the Jaguars, new coach, probably going to struggle this year. Titans, obviously, with Cam Ward, number one overall pick. Can he surprise and be that rookie quarterback that kind of comes like Jaden Daniels did, C.J. Stroud? Can he be what those guys were to those teams? Then, of course, the Colts, who decided to go with Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. So it's got to be the Texans here. The Texans, I think, with a little bounce back. They won the division last year, but I think that they firmly win the division this time around.
I think the Texans are the division winner because they have the best defense in the division. Their defense is going to be scary all year long. I'm not in love with their offense because the running back situation is very questionable. But, by the way, did you see that Boston Scott today worked out for the Colts?
I did not see that, but makes a little bit of sense, I guess, Steichen.
Yeah. Could he save the Colts season? I'm just kidding, obviously.
That's one thing they actually can do is run the ball.
I know, right?
AFC West. I think it's the Chargers' time. I'm going with the Chargers. Obviously, you got Denver made the playoffs last year. Chargers made the playoffs last year. Chiefs went to the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs have won, 10 straight years they've won the West?
9.
This would be the 10th?
This would be the 10th.
They're not getting there. I think the Chargers beat them out, and the beginning of the Chiefs' demise, I don't say demise, starts now. Chargers win the AFC West.
This is something you and I agree on. I actually have the Chargers written down winning the West as well. I think Harbaugh seems to always find a way to go big in his second and third years with a team. And I think Kansas City, they didn't address their offensive line problems. I think that offensive line, plus the fact that their wide receiving core might as well call you and me for some help at this point. I think that Mahomes is great, but I think the Chargers probably just go win more games in that division.
They have a really good defense.
Yep. So I agree with you about the Chargers win the division.
Wild cards.
This week gets interesting.
Chiefs.
Agree.
Denver.
Agree.
Bengals.
Steelers.
I went back and forth between the Bengals and the Steelers. They're kind of like right there and going back and forth on that one. I'm leaning Bengals, but I could see either one. But I'm going to go Bengals to start this thing off.
The Eagles' backup shredded the Bengals' starting defense in the preseason. It's not a good sign.
Yeah, the Bengals' defense is lacking, although Trey Hendrickson wasn't out there. I mean, he was
out there last year and they stunk.
That's right. That's true. Yeah, their defense is a problem, no question about it.
I just think the Steelers are the better team. And I think, listen, Rodgers, he doesn't need to win you games. He just can't be the guy losing you games.
All right, who's in, who's out? NFC East. First time in 20 years, I think the Eagles will win the division.
I agree with you. I think the stat that we've talked about before about Washington needs to come into play here. Washington was 1 win against any playoff team in the regular season last year, and that was the game that Hurts and C.J. Gardner-Johnson both left. Washington couldn't beat a single playoff team in the regular season. I think they are a team like last year. They're going to have to find their way early in the year, and they'll probably ramp up and get better for the postseason, and they'll be a threat in the playoffs, but not for the division.
NFC North. I'm going Packers.
This is probably the easiest one, right? I mean, Micah Parsons is one of the biggest game changers.
I wouldn't say it's the easiest one. I think the Bills is the easiest one.
Okay, maybe the Bills. But Micah Parsons is easily...
No, I disagree. I think this division is 4 deep.
I don't know about that. People like you love the Vikings way more than I do.
They won 13 games last year.
Last year?
Well, they didn't lose a whole heck of a lot from that team. It's not like...
Quarterback?
Yeah, they lost the quarterback. I understand that. They did draft a guy in the first round, and my anticipation is that he would be okay. I'm not saying he'd be great, but Sam Darnold was good last year. He wasn't great. I mean, I don't know. They go from 13 wins to, say, 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean they stink.
I didn't say they stink. It's just...
We said people like the Vikings a lot more than you do. I don't think they're going to be horrendous. I'm just saying I think they're going to be competitive. They got a really good defense, and they got a ton of weapons. If the quarterback can play, now you're looking at a team that probably can win 10, 11 games with the talent they have.
Listen, I agree they can be a playoff team. I just don't know if they're a contender for the division because you said 4 deep.
If the quarterback can play, that makes him a contender. I'm not sure that he can or not, but I wasn't a big fan of Bo Nix.
I was.
Right. Well, good for you.
I'm a nut job, though, so I don't always count.
Right. So if J.J. McCarthy can actually play, then that team could be a contender for the division.
You're right. If J.J. McCarthy can Bo Nix this thing in Minnesota, they are probably an 11-win team, 11, 12 wins.
And those 4 teams should beat each other up. So I don't think someone wins with 13 games.
Right. They're going to wear each other down.
I got Packers.
Who do you think has the best chance not named the Packers to win the division?
I mean, I think the Lions could do it. I just think the 2 coordinator changes, and then Frank Ragnow's a big loss for them.
Huge loss.
Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I believe in the Packers. I think Micah Parsons is one of the biggest game changers in the NFL in the last 20-some years.
All right. South. I've got Tampa Bay.
You've come to the dark side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta actually won this division. And, of course, I picked Tampa this year after going Atlanta last year. And I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Penix can play, they've got more. I don't want to say they have more weapons. Their weapons are younger.
Yes, their weapons are younger and more dynamic. The Bucs' weapons are older and injured.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, and
Chris Godwin
versus Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. They got Bradford. You got Penix. Whose defense do you like better? Probably Tampa's.
You mean Baker Mayfield, not Bradford?
Yeah, what'd I say? Sam Bradford. Jeez. Probably like Tampa's defense better.
I think Tampa's got the better defense. I agree with you. I think Atlanta's got the better offensive weapons.
More dynamic. I mean, Bijan's the best player of probably that
100%.
group right now. Yeah.
And by the way, Bucky Irving is injured right now. We don't know what his health status is coming into this year.
All right. In the West, I've got the Rams.
I got the 49ers.
All right.
I think it's the 49ers revenge tour. I think that Kyle Shanahan, he is a psycho. And he's the kind of guy who spent all offseason trying to figure out how to make this team better. I think that defense is going to be charging full bore with a full offseason with guys healthy this year, unlike last year. And you know what? Brock Purdy just got paid. And that guy's a workaholic. I don't think Brock Purdy's the kind of guy who gets paid and says, I got paid, I'm good.
I like Purdy. I've never really been a Purdy hater. I have no problem with Purdy. I know they added. I mean, their wide receiving core is not great, though.
It's not great. It's weird.
We're going to see if Purdy can kind of elevate with receivers who are not like he had Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel, and a lot of people kind of thought that those two guys were why he was so good.
But you know who is still there? George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. And if
Kittle's
those guys are
getting
really
a little banged up Kittle over the years. We'll see if he's still that elite tight end. Or he's going to, like Zach Ertz was elite, and then he just wasn't anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, wild card. Washington.
Agree.
Detroit.
I have the Vikings.
Well, you have Detroit. Oh, you have the
Packers.
You don't have Detroit. Okay. So now you just said you just told me that I like the Vikings more than you do. You put them in the playoffs.
I said I've seen people picking the Vikings to win the division.
I don't have them in the playoffs, so I don't quite like them as much as apparently you do.
No, I just don't like the Lions. I'm concerned the Lions are going to drop
Before
off.
I said it's all four teams, and you said people like the Vikings a lot more than I do. You put them in the playoffs. I didn't.
Yeah.
49ers.
And I have the Rams.
Yeah. So the NFC has a lot of options, though. Because I can see the Bears. Yeah. Listen, I'm not a big fan of the quarterback, but I understand he's very talented. If the coach can get the most out of this quarterback, they have a good defense.
Who do you have more faith in?
And they reshaped their whole offensive line.
Do you have more faith in what the Bears added to their team this offseason, or do you have faith in what is still in Detroit?
I think Detroit's better.
Okay.
Talent-wise on offense. Like I would take their receiving core, Gibbs, over the Bears receiving core in Swift. I think the Bears offensive line, the Lions still have a really good offensive line. They just changed the center, and I think that's a big deal.
Huge
but
minus.
The Bears offensive line is significantly better than it was last year.
Yes.
And that was a big problem for them. I think the Bears defense might be better than the Lions defense.
Lions are already injured coming into the year.
They had big problems, injuries last year, and the Bears had a really solid defense last year. So if they can score with that defense, that's why I think they can be a problem in the NFC North and be a pain in people's rear ends. But I have the 49ers as my second wild card. But that one, I could see the Bears, I could see the Vikings, I could see the Seahawks, I could see the Cardinals, I could see the Falcons, I can maybe see the Cowboys.
I can't see the Cowboys.
I think those, and look, I could see the Commanders. That schedule just being too much for them.
That's very true. There's always a scenario where the Vikings and Lions both make the playoffs and the Commanders fall off a little bit.
Yes. I think the Commanders are very talented, but they do have a brutal schedule. So does Dallas. So does the Giants. That's why I don't think the Giants are in this play. But I do think the Giants' defense is going to be a problem.
I've already picked the Giants over on the win total this year. I think that people don't realize how good that defense is. That defense is going to make those teams' lives miserable. I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely. Their games every week are like 19-7, because I just think they're going to struggle to score. Their line stinks still.
Their offensive line stinks. Their defensive line is great.
Their defensive line is tremendous. Their offensive line is brutal, so they're going to be rock fights almost every week with them. But that's who's in and who's out for this week. We'll do it again every Tuesday after all the games are over. We'll check in on who we think is going to make the playoffs, who's in, and who we think will be out of the playoffs, who's out. Brought to you by Jenkins & Sons Plumbing and Heating for HVAC, plumbing, and drain cleaning. Call them at 609-641-6262 or jenkinsandsons.com. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. We're getting ready to wrap up the show. All right, finishing up. Couple things here and there. Quad box. No Phillies tonight. What are you watching tonight? Send us a text. What game are you most interested in? We're going to put together our very own Sports Bash Quad box. 609-403-0973. Nuggets is going Mets-Tigers. That's an easy one, right? I think most people are saying, if I'm not watching the Phils, I want to see what's going on with the Mets. Let's get a quad box together. Text in right now. 609-403-0973. Let us know what you're watching tonight so we can put together a quad box for the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. 5:52. That's not recently. I asked you, hey, I said, when'd you go there? Recently? January. It's like, we were talking off the air about a place. He's like, oh, I've been there a couple times. I said, recently? He said, January. I said, that's not recently.
Not recently.
No, it's September. It was like 9 months ago.
Wake me up when?
Oh, boy. All right. Football season. We don't know what day it is. It's Tuesday. Does it feel like Eagles-Cowboys week?
I'm warming up to it.
All right. Quad box. 4 games tonight. No Phillies. What's in the quad box tonight? Now, Earnshaw went Mets-Tigers. I got no problem with that.
I got that on my list. Nolan McLean, by the way, pitching tonight.
Yep.
I also got Yankees-Astros on TBS.
TBS, yeah, I saw that.
How about Orioles-Padres? Yu Darvish is pitching tonight.
Padres are in the mix, so okay. I got some interest in that one.
The fourth one you probably have no interest in. Fever Mercury on NBA TV.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out there. I got Dodgers-Pirates, Clayton Kershaw tonight. I want to see what's going on with the Dodgers. I've been doing scoreboard watching like every night. So I'm going on MLB.TV watching all these games.
Now, do you watch the games individually and flip around, or do you watch MLB Big Inning?
No, I watch the games individually. I'm not into like the red zone stuff.
I love the red zone stuff.
No, I'm in like, give me the game. I'm into the game. I want to see you. I'm Dodgers, so I'm gonna go Mets, Tigers, Dodgers, Pittsburgh. That Padre game, because they're in the mix. There's no other event on tonight, is there? WWE, NXT? Can I? No, I haven't watched NXT in quite some time. Sorry.
When's the last time you actually sat down and watched NXT?
I don't even remember.
Not recently.
It wasn't on television. I can tell you that's how long it was. Who is somebody I would like to see pitch tonight? Not sure. Oh, Crochet's pitching tonight against Cleveland. I'll go there. Boston, Cleveland. That's a big game, too, because Boston and the Yankees are tied.
That's true.
Right now, the American League playoffs will start. They'd be playing each other 4-5. That's what's in the quad box. You can tell us what's in the quad box every day. Tell us a game that you're watching and most interested in tonight. 609-403-0973 on the text board. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you again tomorrow right here on the Sports Bash.